Head coach of UCF is number 23, Greg Lovely.
It's day 2 of the American Baseball Championship here in Clearwater, and it's our second of 2 elimination games on this Wednesday. The Memphis Tigers against the UCF Knights, with NCAA implications on the line here in Clearwater. Take a look at the scores from yesterday. A quadruple header. Quite a bit of drama in the first side of the bracket. As far as these two teams here, they're coming off of losses. Memphis lost to Cincinnati, where UCF lost in the nightcap to Tulane. So someone's going to go home today. Earlier today, we had one team already go home, the Houston Cougars, the 1-seed ECU Pirates, knocking them off 13-2. ECU advances to Friday. What's going to happen in this one between the 6-seed UCF and the 7-seed Memphis? And welcome once again to Clearwater. I'm Jeff Sharon, along with Mr. Play-by-Play himself, Garrett Wolvert. Garrett, the UCF Knights came into this tournament having to win a few in order to solidify their NCAA tournament chances because they're on the bubble. They lost yesterday to Tulane, and now in an elimination game, they face a Memphis team that seems to make a habit of knocking teams off in the losers bracket.
Memphis very successful in this tournament over the years under Coach Darren Schoenrock. They've never come here and not won a game. Last night, offense wasn't the problem. 6 runs plated, 9 hits in the ball game, but they weren't able to get the best of their opponent. I think UCF's got a chance to really advance deep into this tournament. Talented offense, talented defense. Let's see what they can do if they're moving on in Clearwater.
Let's take a look at the keys to the game for both teams. First, for the Memphis Tigers, who are the visiting team in this matchup.
Well, they've got to get a quality start out of Hicks, who will go for them today, get him deep into the ball game and have defense play well behind him. Really need a big day on offense as well. For Memphis, the Tigers need to get into that UCF bullpen, knock the starter out as soon as they can, and try and play as many runs as possible to not have their season end here in Clearwater.
And for Greg Loveladies UCF Knights?
Well, for them, they need to hit in bunches. Last night, just one UCF player with 2 hits. That's a problem for them. And also rely on your defense. You've got a veteran infield led by the infielder, Matthew Micah, on the all-first team. Turn some double plays and get out of the inning.
We've got a couple of talented players to look at as well for our key players for the game. First, for Memphis, Alec Trella, the junior shortstop.
He had a great game yesterday here to start off our action in Clearwater. 2 hits, an RBI, got himself around on the plate. Trella's one of those guys, now a veteran for the Tigers, who can push them to success.
Speaking of veterans, you mentioned him earlier for the UCF Knights. Matthew Micah, the senior second baseman.
Well, he's just a talent in the middle of the infield. He's a senior all-conference first-teamer. He got on the board last night against Tulane as well. Went 1 for 5. If he can put a couple of hits together, make some plays through the middle of the infield, UCF can lean on him and maybe get a win.
It's an elimination game here in Clearwater. UCF won 2 out of 3 in the regular season between these two, but they had to walk it off to win the 3rd one. What happens here in Clearwater, we'll find out in just a moment here at the American Baseball Championships.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express. to lead. Because an education isn't something you get. It's something you do.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity. So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
Ready to get underway in this elimination game here in Clearwater between Memphis and UCF. Let's take a look at the Memphis Tigers lineup as heading out there for Coach Darren Schoenrock. Leading off will be Ben Brooks, the sophomore second baseman, followed by Colton Neal, who homered yesterday. Hunter Goodman, one of the top freshmen in the country. Kyle Ouellette in the cleanup spot, followed by Alec Trella. Cole Henneman, Nick Vogie, Jason Santana switching up in the lineup. He moves up to 8th with Peyton Marshall batting 9th for the Tigers. And they will face Grant Sherman, the veteran lefty for UCF.
He's a senior southpaw, 6-5 on the year with a 3.57 ERA. This is his 14th start, one complete game on his ledger. 85 2/3 innings pitched for Sherman, 77 hits, 34 earned runs, and in those 85 2/3 innings, he struck out 51, walked 20. Pretty good batting average against, just 242, Jeff.
Sherman, a long-time pitcher for Furman, pitched for 4 years there, transferred over to UCF, and he has been key for the Knights, especially down the stretch. The defense for the Knights, Dallas Beaver gets the start behind the plate. Across the infield from third to first, Anthony George, Brennan Hernandez, Matthew Micah, and Tyler Osick. In the outfield, Chandler Robertson, Ray Alejo in center, and and Wingo over in right.
Memphis as a team hitting .276 in 2019. They have 41 home runs, so some power at the plate for the Tigers. Gonna have to string some together tonight against the Knights.
First pitch from Sherman to Ben Brooks is in there for a strike. Brooks, a sophomore, 285 on the year, 63 hits and 221 at-bats. And he's quickly ahead in the count, 2-0.
Last night for UCF, they allowed 5 runs on 11 hits to Tulane. They got out early, but then that pitching for UCF was so good. They had 7 innings.
This is roped down the line and left, and tails foul.
After giving up 2 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second, 7 shutout innings. Offense wasn't able to answer, though.
Yeah, it was a tough break because we saw, as good as Caleb Roper was last night for Tulane, Chris Williams pretty much matched him after that second inning. Knights had a few opportunities but couldn't push anything across. Neither team pushed a run across after the second, as Brooks is down to the count 1-2. Yesterday, Brooks was 1 for 5 and scored a run. And we'll switch out the baseball. It's still a warm evening here in Clearwater. Temperatures earlier during our first game today were up above 95 degrees. Currently showing 94 degrees out on the scoreboard. Here's the 1-2 from Sherman. Up high and the count square at 2-2. And that one is fouled back. Sherman got the start against Memphis in the first of the 3-game series that these two played at John Giuliano Park on campus at UCF. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 earned runs on 6 hits, walked 4, struck out 7 in a victory for the Knights. 12-11 in that ballgame. 2-2. Waved at and missed, strike 3. Sherman has his first strikeout.
Sherman not known for being a big power pitcher, but now he's got 52 Ks on the year. Just kind of elevated that one, kept it away from the bat. Good zip on the fastball to finish him off to start our game.
And in steps Colton Neal, the center fielder. Neal homered in his first at-bat yesterday against the Cincinnati Bearcats. Went 2 for 4 at the plate, also walked, and he takes a strike on the first pitch from Sherman. Colton 285 coming into the tournament. He's pushed that average up to 293 by virtue of his performance yesterday. Hit his 4th home run of the season. All of them have been since April 1st. One is cut on and missed, 1-2. So Sherman getting ahead of his hitters in this first inning. We'll see his counterpart, Alex Hicks from Memphis, in the bottom of this frame. Infield for UCF has shifted over to right, and the 1-2 is fouled back. Shortstop Brandon Hernandez is on the first base side of second. There you see the shift on Neal. Look at that hole on the left side. Wouldn't you love to lay down a bunt here? Probably. One out, no one on, and the 1-2. And this is tapped to the left side. It's going to be a tough play for Anthony George. He's just going to have to eat it. So an infield hit for Colton Neal, and Memphis has their first base runner.
Fantastic job of staying with the pitch and just driving it right opposite field. You know you're going to have an opportunity. Hustle down to first base. That won't even elicit a throw. So the first base runner of the game for the Tigers.
And in steps Hunter Goodman, the newcomer position player of the year in the conference. 329 average coming into today. And he takes a strike from Sherman on the first pitch. Goodman is getting close to setting a record in the conference. He's at 67 runs batted in. The conference record is 68. 0-1 misses in. It's 1-1.
Jeff Gardner, the owner of that record, from the Louisville Cardinals in the one and only year they were in the American in 2014. Gardner was a senior. You got a freshman knocking on that number. Pretty impressive.
If you're Darren Schoenrock, you got to be thrilled that you found a kid like this. Decided to stay home. Memphis kid swings and misses at that offering. And the count is 1-2. One out, Colton Neal on first for the Memphis Tigers. Here in the top of the first inning, no score. And that one's fouled back. We'll come back and do it again. Neal over at first, the runner for Memphis. He's 84% on the season in the stolen base department. 11 for 13.
So important to have guys in the middle of your order that you can build around, recruit around. Like, hey, I got the freshman of the year. Why don't you come here and play with him for the next 2 or 3 seasons, and let's see what we can accomplish together.
1-2. Neal goes, and this one's popped up. Right side, foul ground. Tyler Osick over for UCF. Makes the catch. 2 down, and Neal has to stay at first.
That high sunshine's still an issue. Earlier in our first game, actually to start the game, Alec Burleson lost sight of one in right field, allowed a base runner when it got past his glove. Nice job, though, by the big first baseman to shield from the sun and make the out.
Yeah, if you look at the orientation of the diamond, the left field line is due north. So we get a little bit of that wind off of the Gulf of Mexico heading out toward right. But the sun is setting behind the grandstand, the left field grandstand here at Spectrum Field. Check on the runner, nothing doing.
So literally everyone minus the catcher has it in their face until the sun goes down over the grandstand. And then, of course, Jeff and I talked about it. When you have a pop-up over the plate, that catcher's got to come up. They're immediately looking in the sun for a ball.
First pitch to Kyle Ouellette is fouled down the third base line. Ouellette, the DH, batting in the cleanup spot for Memphis. He's hitting .304 on the year, but only .193 with 2 outs. 49 hits in 161 at-bats. 3 homers, 8 doubles, and a triple. Neal at first, 2 out. And the lefty Sherman delivers the 0-1. That one's inside, 1-1. Sherman from Cincinnati, Ohio. He is a redshirt senior, 6'2", 200 pounds. He went to Lakota West High School. Started his career at Furman, pitched there for 4 years, finished up as a redshirt junior in 2018. 1-1. Up high 2-1. He sat out 2016 after having to undergo Tommy John surgery the previous year, his freshman year at Furman. And here's the 2-1. That's up high 3-1. His record at Furman was 14-14 with 1 save. He's already got his undergraduate degree in communications. He's at UCF now pursuing a master's in interdisciplinary studies and has pitched quite well this year. 6-5 with a 3.57. 3-1, fouled back, full count.
I feel like there are so many doctors throughout the United States now that have performed Tommy John. I'm not going to say it's become a routine surgery, but there's so many out there that the prescribed ability to come back from that injury now can make you so much stronger. If you do everything that your doctor and your physical therapist ask from you, it's not a death sentence. It's actually a chance to further your career. Looks like he's doing pretty well coming back from it.
Runner goes on the payoff pitch, and Ouellette swings and misses, strike 3. So Grant Sherman strikes out 2 Tigers in the first inning. No score after half of a frame here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. It's the 2019 American Baseball Championship at Clearwater.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. The beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
No score after half an inning here between UCF and Memphis. We go to the bottom of the first. Jeff Sharon, Garrett Wolford with you. Here's the UCF Knights lineup. Matthew Micah, the senior, leading off, followed by Dallas Beaver, Tyler Osick. Dalton Wingo is batting in the cleanup spot. Chandler Robertson, Ray Alejo, Anthony George. Ben McCabe gets the start at DH, and Brandon Hernandez rounds out the lineup. 5 seniors in this UCF lineup, and they will face a senior for Memphis, Alex Hicks, the 6'4" righty from Collierville, Tennessee.
A pair of seniors getting the starts today in this elimination game. Hicks, 4-3 with a 3.86 ERA. Very impressive. Jeff, the defense for Memphis.
Hunter Goodman, Colton Neal, Peyton Marshall across the outfield. The infield looks like this. Henneman, Trella, Brooks, and Vogie. Jason Santana behind the plate. And Alex Hicks on the hill. First pitch to Matthew Micah is cut on and fouled down the third base line. Micah, the senior, 317 average, 64 hits on the year, 6 homers, 33 runs batted in. It's not bad when your leadoff hitters got a 441 on base percentage. The 0-1 is popped up right side, though. Giving chase is Vogie, the first baseman, and it's 4 rows back into the seats.
During the regular season, Hicks faced UCF on April 28th. He did not factor in the decision, but he did go 6 innings, scattered 6 hits, 3 runs, only 1 was earned, struck out 5. So a pretty good outing for him against the Knights. He'll see them for the second time this year.
It was a wild series between these two clubs. UCF won the first one 12-11 in the game that Sherman started. Memphis came back, won 12-7 in the second game. That was between yesterday's starters for both these teams. Chris Durham got the win for Memphis in that ball game. Chris Williams for UCF took the loss. That one's in the dirt. Santana blocks it. 2-2 now the count. Hicks pitched in that third and deciding game of the series against Jordan Spicer of UCF. Game that was decided on a walk-off single by Jake Lyons of the Knights. Micah holds off on that one, 3-2.
Tough to have to start a ball game off against an all-conference first-teamer, but that's what Hicks has been dealt.
And the payoff pitch is cut on and missed. Strike 3. So both starting pitchers strike out the leadoff hitters here in the first.
Hicks, great spin rate on that one, goes away from the right-handed bat. 80 innings pitched on the year for Hicks. He's now struck out 83. Opponents hitting .281 against him in 2019.
Stepping up to the plate now for UCF is a .317 hitter, the junior catcher Dallas Beaver. Beaver's got 63 hits, 52 runs batted in, and 12 homers. And he taps this one up the middle, and it's bobbled at second by Brooks. Token throw not in time, and Dallas Beaver gets on. We'll see how they score that one.
Here's a closer look at it. Ball with a couple of hops up the middle, just off the cuff of his glove, it looks like.
Haven't seen if they've ruled it a hit or an error yet.
Memphis during the regular season did lead the conference with 70+ errors in the field.
And they were dead last in fielding percentage as well. Tyler Osick steps to the plate for UCF now. .328. He's the top hitter for UCF, and they do rule that an error on Ben Brooks over at second. So E4, and Beaver is on first. 1-0 the count with one out. And Hicks misses with that one, 2-0. Mention Osick. How about these top three hitters in the lineup for UCF? All slugging at least .495 coming into this game. First baseman Osick swings and misses at that one, 2-1.
We touched on it in the open. It's a dangerous offense. Nobody wants to face this offense, especially in postseason play, because the game can get away from you real quick the way they can drive the ball for power.
(2-1). And a good eye there by Osick. Count now 3-1. UCF was third in the conference in slugging percentage at .424 and an on-base percentage at .375. Behind Tulane and ECU in both of those categories. 3-1. Ball 4. So Tyler Osick draws a walk. An error and a walk, and UCF has two men on.
Hicks does not give up a lot of free passes. In 80 innings pitched, just 15 coming into the game. But now 2 on and only 1 out.
Cleanup hitter for UCF is Dalton Wingo. Wingo this year hitting .285. 7 homers, 42 runs batted in. And with first and second and 1 out, Hicks will deal out of the stretch. And that one misses 1-0. Reminder, this is an elimination game. The winner will play on Friday. Loser goes home. 1-0 is outside.
Hicks in his career is a 3-year starter for the Tigers. He's started 37 games since 2017. Overall record, though, is just 11-19. He's 4-3 in 2019.
You see Hicks slowing down here with the action. Now with a 2-0 count. Behind the count, 2-0 with 2 on here and 1 out. Struck out Micah to lead off the game, and then he's was the victim of an error, and then he walked the next hitter, and that's what's set up for right now for Dalton Wingo. 2-1 the count. Wingo, just a sophomore, takes that one inside, and the count again 3-1. Another 3-ball count here for Hicks.
Alex listed at 6'4", 218 pounds. He was a quarterback and a punter coming out of Collierville, Tennessee High School. Exercise and sports science major for the Tigers.
3-1. That one's in there for a strike, and the count now full at 3-2. These Memphis Tigers have made a habit of playing well in these elimination games. Here's the payoff pitch to Wingo. Cut on and missed, strike 3. 2 strikeouts now for Alex Hicks. And we have first and second and 2 out.
Hicks breaks one off on the outside corner. Really nice piece of pitching to get rid of Wingo.
And that'll bring up Chandler Robertson, the left fielder. Robertson 279 on the season. Pretty good hitter with 2 out, though. 340 with 2 down. He's got 9 doubles and 1 home run. 21 runs batted in. And he cuts and misses at that one. 0-1 the count.
Robertson with a big RBI double to get him on the board yesterday in the 2nd inning. Also has drawn a walk, so he's been on the bases. Great opportunity here, though. If you put the ball in play, good things can happen.
The 0-1. And this is in the air to left. Heading back for it is Hunter Goodman. He ranges over and makes the catch. And that ends the inning. So UCF puts 2 guys on, but they can't push any of them across. We played 1 full here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. No score between Memphis and UCF at the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
We all dream about our next vacation, but some of us turn those dreams into action. The bookers, the doers, they hit that confirmation button and let's goers. Because bookers know that the perfect place to stay is right there for the booking. Be a booker at Booking.com, the world's #1 choice for booking accommodations.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row. Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30! Unbelievable.
And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
No score as we go to the second in this elimination game here at the 2019 American Baseball Championship. Jeff Sharon, Garrett Woolvard here with you at Spectrum Field, second day of the tournament. Grant Schurman, the starter for UCF. Gave up 1 hit, struck out 2 in that first inning. He faces 6, 7, and 8 in the Memphis lineup. Or correction, 5, 6, and 7, beg your pardon. And first up will be Alec Trella, the junior. 270 hitter coming in. We highlighted him at the top of the show. He's been a key player in the Memphis lineup this year all season. Started all 54 games. He's got 51 hits, 15 of them doubles, 5 homers, 31 runs batted in. And this one is through the hole and into left for a base hit. Second hit of the game for the Tigers. And the leadoff man is on for Memphis here in the top of the second.
This will be the 3rd hit of the weekend for Trella. And Jeff, it was about this time yesterday against Cincinnati when Memphis got on the board. They scored 3 runs on 3 hits, put some solid shots together, and got themselves on the board.
And that'll bring up Cale Henneman. The third baseman, 5'9", 173 redshirt senior from Pawnee, Illinois. Transferred over from Eastern Illinois. Henneman this year hitting .259, 39 runs batted in. 0-1. In the air to right, and that's deep. Heading back for it, and making the catch is Dalton Wingo. 1 down. Runner has to stay at first.
Ball not quite flying like it was earlier. That one got high in the air to right field, and the flags not giving them any help right now, kind of pushing in. That ball may have been knocked down.
So Sherman right now at over the 25 pitch mark in the second inning, and Nick Vogie steps to the plate with a runner on. And he fouls that one straight back. Vogie this year, .259 coming into this game. 48 hits and 185 at bats. 3 homers and 29 runs batted in.
0 for 4 in yesterday's game against Cincinnati, but he did drive in a run.
Here's the 0-1 from Sherman. And this is back up the middle. Might be a tough play. It gets past Micah and through for a hit. Trella is heading for third. The throw goes over his head and into the camera bin. And they're going to wave Trella home.
The throw by Alejo, a little high, got over George's head, goes out of play. That'll send the runner to plate.
And that also advances Vogie to third, so a critical error by UCF. Ray Alejo, the center field, airmailing on the throw. Watch it again.
Just miscommunication up the middle. I think Hernandez thought he was going to make the play on it. Then he wanted to stay on second for the flip. Here's the throw in by Alejo. Gets away, and that will send Mr. Trella to the plate.
And it looked like a good throw could have gotten him over at third, but now Memphis has a 1-0 lead in the top of the second and a runner on third for Jason Santana, the catcher, and 1 out. And he lays down a bunt. It's a good one. Sherman comes home, and it's dropped, and the run scores. The squeeze play on for the Tigers, and suddenly Memphis is out on top 2-0.
Great job by Sherman anticipating the bunt, fielded it cleanly. I think he threw it to the plate a little too hard for Beaver. On the replay, let's zoom in here. Running hard in is Vogie. He would have been toast with a good throw. Instead, it's a 2-0 ball game and a runner on first.
A tough play for Sherman coming off, and because he's a lefty, I think that probably figured into it as well, heading toward the wrong side. Peyton Marshall now steps in for Memphis with a runner on first and 1 out. So 2 errors in this inning for UCF. And that one's in there for a strike, and the count now 1-1. Marshall, the senior, hitting .312, but in the 3-game series against UCF, really struggled. Two for 11, and he struck out 6 times in that 3-game set. That one misses outside, and the count now 2-1. We're in the top of the second inning, 2-0 your score. Memphis with the lead over UCF. By virtue of a couple hits, runner's going to go. This one's lifted in the air to center. Heading back for it is Alejo. He makes the catch. Santana has to touch second and hustle back to first, and he's not back in time. Double play. So Jason Santana gets doubled off at first, but not before Memphis pushes 2 across to take the lead here in the top of the second. We head to the bottom of the second. 2-0 your score. Tigers over the Knights in this elimination game. It's the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve part-time in your community. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Two 2-0 your score. Memphis with the lead over UCF as we head to the bottom of the second. Let's go to the third member of our broadcast team, Haley Outen, down on the field level. Haley?
before this game, Memphis head coach Darren Schoenrock shared that there's a really big veteran presence on this team, especially in the lineup. And one of the things that makes this team really unique is their ability to bounce back. They never really have a bad stretch. When they lose a game, they usually learn from it and they're able to correct those mistakes. And that's one of the reasons that they're one of the few teams in this league to actually have beaten each team in this conference at least one game throughout the season. So a tough loss for the Tigers yesterday, but they're having a strong showing so far in this elimination game.
Yeah, they've gotten a little bit of help from UCF too, but that's one of the things that we've learned about this Memphis team, especially in these elimination games, is they know how to take advantage of those mistakes when they are handed them. Alex Hicks steps out onto the mound for his second inning of work.
Congratulations in order to Coach Schoenrock, who won his 400th career game at Memphis earlier this season. He's now with 409 wins at Memphis, 434 overall for his career, and now his starter, Hicks, has been staked to a 2-0 lead early in this game.
First batter to face Hicks will be Ray Alejo for UCF, the center fielder, averaging .305 on the year, .398 in the leadoff spot. 73 hits and 239 at-bats. He's got 7 home runs. Speed and power for the Knights to lead off the bottom of the second, down 2-0, and Alejo takes a strike. 6, 7, and 8 are due up for UCF here in the bottom of the second. Alejo, Anthony George, and Ben McCabe. The 0-1 is fouled off. Quickly behind in the count, 0-2, is Alejo.
Ray looking to put game one of this tournament behind him. 3 strikeouts in the game. He was 0 for 5. Today, a new day.
6 feet tall, 170 pounds. He's a hometown kid. Orlando, Florida is his home. Here's the 0-2. Grounded over toward short. Fielding and firing. High throw, no, safe. Alejo gets on. There's a high throw from Trella. And he drew the first baseman, Vogie, off the bag. Let's see if they call that an error on the throw.
I think a pretty clean pickup there by Trella in the hole at shortstop.
And it is ruled a throwing error on.
That's the right call, too.
Yeah, on Trella, too. Yep.
Pulls Vogie off the bag. Very aware by Alejo to duck under a potential tag, and he's a base runner.
Well, let's see. We've seen 3 errors in this ball game, 3 hits and 2 runs so far. So the leadoff man is on for UCF. And that brings up Anthony George, who's hitting .217. Alejo is a threat to steal. 15 for 20 on the year.
George was also a frequent strikeout victim 3 times yesterday. He did have a hit.
Didn't mean to on that one, but he went around, strike. 0-1 the count to the third baseman, Anthony George.
I don't know if there's a hotter team than UCF in the conference to end the season, maybe ECU, but you look at them winning 11 of their 14 down the stretch. They hit 16 home runs in those games.
Yeah, as critical as they check on Alejo again, that they got the 2 out of 3 against Houston, including the walk-off in the final game of the regular season last Saturday. 11-10 in extra innings. That put UCF in this bracket where they have the highest RPI of any team on this side of the tournament. Here's the 0-1. It's in there for a strike, and George is behind 0-2. And yet, despite all that, UCF lost yesterday, and they find themselves staring elimination in the face in this game, down 2-0 here in the bottom of the second. And George rips this one down the line and left for a base hit. Alejo rounds second. He heads for third. It's into the corner. They'll hold Alejo there. So it's second and third, and nobody out for UCF on the double by Anthony George.
George comes up clutch here in the second inning. The right-hander's just going to pull this into left field. A spinning breaking ball that never sunk. Gets this one almost all the way to the wall. An extra base hit early on here for UCF.
So the hit by the junior George from Haggerty High School in Oviedo, Florida, just northeast of Orlando proper. And Ben McCabe, the designated hitter, will step to the plate. He's hitting .242 on the season. McCabe looking for his first hit against Memphis in 2019. He was 0 for 5 in the 3-game set during the regular season. Cuts and misses for strike one on that one. So UCF, after giving up 2 runs in the second on a couple hits and an error, have 2 on, second and third, and nobody out. McCabe swings and misses 0-2. McCabe's a freshman. He's from Sarasota High School. 5'11", 170 pounds. Hicks is up high with that one, 1-2.
UCF had 4 doubles in yesterday's game against Tulane, only managed to plate a pair of runs.
It's a credit to Caleb Roper, who was fantastic in that ball game for Tulane. Over 130 pitches in what could be his last start as a member of the Green Wave. 1-2. Outside, 2-2. McCabe yesterday got the start behind the plate. Like you mentioned, he had that 1 double. He was 1 for 3. He's got a big spot here. Second and third, nobody out. 2-2. Foul back will do it again. This year, Ben McCabe, with runners in scoring position, is hitting only 133. He struck out 34 times and walked only 9. Two. And that one misses, and McCabe has worked the count full.
I thought it was great to see Roper on the mic on our broadcast after the end of the game. He was emotional. He had just slapped a sticker on the wall here in Clearwater, which is what Tulane does after every single win. You could see how much it meant to him to preserve that win.
Payoff pitch is in there. Strike 3. McCabe goes down looking. Good pitch by Hicks. And that's his 3rd strikeout of the game.
Paints the outside corner. It's above the knees, a pitch you got to swing at and protect with 2 strikes.
So 1 out, second and third now, and Brandon Hernandez steps in. Hernandez, the shortstop, in the 9 slot in the order, hitting .206 on the year. 24 runs batted in. .217 with runners in scoring position. And he takes a strike on the first pitch. Hernandez, one of the seniors in this UCF lineup. He's from Royal Palm Beach, Florida. Came to UCF from Santa Fe College, which is in Gainesville. The 0-1 is outside. Well, we've seen Santana do some work back there behind the plate for Memphis. He was digging pitches out of the dirt seemingly all day yesterday, and that was probably one of the few times he's had to work out today. One. Ripped up the middle, but right at Colton Neal. He makes the catch. Runner tags from third. Here comes Alejo home. Here's the throw. It's offline. Alejo scores, and UCF is within 1 now. The score is 2-1 Memphis.
Sac fly, RBI. Hernandez barrels this one up, and Neal gives his best attempt to try and gun the runner from center, but instead that'll cut the run in half. Now a 2-1 ball game.
George has to stay at second. And now we go to the top of the order. Matthew Micah struck out his first time. 2 out and 1 runner on second. George not overly speedy, so you don't have to worry about that, but a key 2-out hit for Micah would be big for the Knights as he takes a strike on the first pitch. You know, Micah a senior from Lake Worth, which is down near Palm Beach County. He's a big Marvel Comics fan.
You were telling me before the broadcast.
The 0-1 fouled back.
Big affinity for everything that Marvel Studios has done over the last decade.
Yeah, he even listens to podcasts that are Marvel Comics related. He's a huge, huge Marvel fan. Probably as big as you'll ever see. Even bigger than you, Garrett.
Thank you. Thank you. I would love to see if he has like a comic book collection in his dorm room or in his apartment over in Orlando.
0-2 the count. And that one's in the dirt. Santana with a good save.
Maybe he'll put his kids through college one day on the value of those comic books. We'll see.
Do you know anyone for whom that's worked out yet? Because it hasn't worked for me.
No. That's just what they say.
1-2 the count to Matthew Micah.
Unless you've got the comic books that our great-grandparents were reading.
That's true. First edition Spider-Man. That one's off Santana's mask, and it gets back. George advances to third. And now if Micah can get a hit, George will definitely score. The UCF down 2-1. They've already pushed one across in this frame.
Here's a closer look, and that one just kind of one-hops the plate. It depends on how they'll ring it up, whether a pass ball or a wild pitch. Hicks does have 6 wild pitches on the year.
It's ruled a wild pitch. Looks like it caught the very front edge of the plate because you don't normally see a ball bounce that high on a wild pitch. 2-2 to Micah with a runner on third now. And he takes that one inside and forces the count full.
So now an error in the inning, a wild pitch in the inning. It hasn't quite come back to bite them yet, but Memphis living a little dangerously.
It's been a little messy for both squads in this second inning. Here's the payoff pitch. And Micah pops this one out of play.
I know the Cougars' run here in Clearwater is over after Houston was eliminated, but I'm sure Matthew Micah might have had his eye on that Thor hammer that Joe Davis and the boys bring to the ball game.
Mike had quite a series against Memphis in the meeting between these two in the regular season. He was 4 for 8 at the plate with a double, but he also walked 6 times. Payoff. Misses, ball 4. Micah draws a walk. Runners at the corners now and 2 out.
That's exactly what you want out of your leadoff man, a guy who can be patient at the plate when he's ahead in the count. Makes him pay with the walk there, and now Dallas Beaver will come up with runners on the corners.
That is free pass number 2 issued by Alex Hicks. He's now over the 40 pitch mark here in the second inning. And Dallas Beaver, who reached on an error his first time back in the first. I say back in the first, it was last inning. George the runner at third and Micah at first. Beaver the .315 hitter. He's .317 with runners in scoring position. And Micah's going to go. They don't care about that. He takes second easily. Pitch misses, ball 1. So 1-0 the count. Now you have 2 runners in scoring position. They rule that a stolen base for Micah. And that one misses 2-0. George was dancing off of third almost about 40% of the way down the line.
This is the most dangerous RBI man for the Knights. 52 runs driven in on the year for Beaver, the catcher.
And the shift is on for him. They have the shortstop Trella over on the first base side of second. Beaver hits this one to left side. Great play by Trella. Can he make the throw in time? Yes, he can. And that ends the threat. But UCF pushes one across in the bottom of the second. We've played 2 full here in Clearwater. 2-1 your score. Memphis with the lead over UCF here at the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to Clearwater Beach, the #1 beach in the U.S. as chosen by travelers on TripAdvisor. It's not just white sand and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast. Visit stpclearwater.com. Love the beach.
We go to the third here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater, home of the Philadelphia Phillies for spring training. The 2019 American Baseball Championship. 2-1 your score in this elimination game between UCF and Memphis. The Tigers in the lead. Grant Shurman back out there for UCF, his third inning of work. And he will face the top of the Memphis order with Ben Brooks stepping to the plate. Brooks struck out his first time. And he takes a strike on the first pitch. Shurman's given up 2 runs, only one of them earned on 3 hits so far in the first 2 innings. Struck out 2. He hasn't walked anybody yet. The 0-1 misses inside.
You touched on the regular season series a little bit earlier. A 1-run game here. You wouldn't expect it to be any different. Pair of 1-run games in the regular season. Total runs added up 26 for UCF, 24 for Memphis. It's about as close as they come.
Here's the 2-1 from Shurman. Down the line, foul by about 5 feet. Yeah, at the time that UCF won those 2 out of 3 from Memphis in Orlando, they were 5-10 in the conference and in the bottom half. And they were flirting with the 9 spot at that time, but they won 2 out of 3 in back of that walk-off win in the 3rd game of the series. 2-2 is lifted high in the air, foul out of play. And it was the game that Alex Hicks started for Memphis, but UCF got the victory 7-6 on a walk-off RBI single by Jay Lyons, who had a great day that day, 3 for 5. 2-2 from Shurman. In the air toward left, heading back for it at the track is Robertson. He makes the catch. 1 down.
Leadoff man blasted that one about 320 feet to left. Not quite far enough, though.
Sounded like Brooks kind of caught that one a little fat, didn't he?
Not quite flying like it was. Nice play there by Robertson to track it down, no issue.
And now Colton Neal steps to the plate. He singled his first time. And he takes a strike. Kind of didn't mean to. They had the shift on him, and he had a little bit of, like, I guess you'd call that a swinging bunt toward the third base side of George, who was playing over by the shortstop's area. This one's popped up left side. George in foul ground, makes the play, 2 down. And with nobody on, here comes Hunter Goodman. Goodman popped out to first his first time. 328 hitter on the year. Still looking for that record-tying 68th RBI. This one's laced toward left. It's off the top of the wall. Just missed a home run by about 3 feet. He'll have to retreat to first, though. It's a loud single.
Very loud. That ball got to the wall in a hurry. That's why he had to put the brakes on coming around first base. Way to play it by Robertson. Both balls have found him here in the 3rd inning. Watch him play it off the wall, off the hop, and gets it in as quick as he can to the cutoff man. But for Goodman, continues to hit hot here in Clearwater.
And that's hit number 4 on the game for Memphis. Runner on first and 2 out now, and At the plate, Kyle Ouellette, the designated hitter. Sherman bounces one in there, 1-0 the count. For Goodman, you want to put a asterisk next to that one because, he went down and got it in that lower right, that low and outside pitch from Sherman. Missed a home run by what, 3 feet maybe? Here's the 1-0. Chop foul wide of third.
Goodman leads the team with 13 home runs on the year, and you talked about Coach Schoenrock probably fantasizing about the things to come with that young man in the middle of his order. Could certainly make some noise over the years to come.
He's the only Memphis player to win Player of the Week in conference this year. That one's in there for a strike. And the count now 1-2. Here's Sherman. Runner goes. It's popped over to the left side, and ranging over from short is Brandon Hernandez to make the catch and end the inning. So Hunter Goodman singles with 2 out, but Memphis can't push anything across. 2-1 your score. Memphis with the lead through 2.5. This is the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
Scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American. Are you mom? Get set. Let's go. It goes.
It's all right, huh?
NBA superstar.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes, zero sugar. Get more out of zero.
To the bottom of the third we go in Clearwater Spectrum Field. 2-1 your score. Memphis with the lead over UCF. Alex Hicks, the starter for Memphis, is out there for his 3rd inning of work. It's been a beautiful day to hang out over at Frenchie's in left field. As now we're finally starting to see it cool down. It's dropped down to a rather brisk 91 degrees Garrett Wolford today. We're just happy that it's just sunny all week, to be honest with you.
Rest of the week should be beautiful. You're looking to follow your team and make the trip in to the Tampa Bay area for the Memorial Day weekend and the tournament.
Tyler Osick leads off for UCF against Hicks. Takes a ball 1-0. Osick walked his first time, and he fouls that one off 1-1. Osick a .328 hitter on the season. .417 as a leadoff guy. It'll be a 1-1. And this is hit high in the air to left center. Heading back for it is Neal. Approaching the track, coming over from left is Goodman. He makes the catch. 1 down.
Osick's powerful bat certainly got into this one. Outside part of the plate, though, and he pulled it. And Neal will take care of it.
Got underneath it just a little bit there. And the number 4 hitter in the lineup, Dalton Wingo, steps to the plate. Wingo struck out his first time, takes a strike on the first offering from Hicks. Mentioned Hicks coming into today 4-3 with a 3.86 ERA. That's the best ERA among starters for Memphis. This one's hit toward right and in for a hit. So Dalton Wingo is on first. With 1 down for UCF, and Chandler Robertson steps to the plate.
Wingo sprays this to the opposite field. His third hit of the tournament. Had 2 yesterday, now 1 tonight. He's a base runner.
And Robertson, who's 0 for 1, steps to the plate. 277 hitter on the year, 1 out and a runner on first. Robertson has 9 doubles and a home run on the year in terms of extra base hits. Takes a strike on that one. We're in the second of 2 elimination games here today on this Wednesday. Had a quadruple header yesterday.
Saw a little history with Houston being eliminated. They had made the semifinals all 5 years of the previous American tournament.
Just goes to show you how quickly your fortunes can change in just 2 days. Could you call that a Clearwater minute? 0-1 to Robertson, misses, 1-1. Wingo singled. He's at first with 1 out. And he's going to run here on a 1-1. Here's the throw from Santana. It's in time. He got him. Wingo not really a threat to steal. He does have 7 stolen bases on the year, but he's not exactly the fleetest of foot out there. And he's erased by Jason Santana. And the count now 1-2 with 2 down and the bases empty.
Easy call by the umpire out there. Ball beat him to the bag. Tag applied cleanly. That is a perfect throw down.
Right on the money. How about that throw by Jason Santana? So now 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. And Robertson takes outside, the count square at 2-2.
Chandler had an RBI on a hit last night. They were trying to set it up with a man in scoring position for him once again.
And he takes that one inside, full count. Robertson, 6'1", 185. He's another senior from north of the border, Ancaster, Ontario, Canada. Transferred from Murray State. Takes ball 4 and draws a 2-out walk. Third walk of the game for Alex Hicks. It's those 2-out walks that always kill you in games like this, don't they?
He's got a dangerous batter coming to the plate. Alejo has already burned up the base paths in this game.
Yeah, he reached on an error and came in to score the only UCF run to this point. 2-1 your score. Memphis with the lead, bottom 3. And he takes a ball on the first pitch. Alejo is a .304 hitter this year, but only 197 with 2 out. Seems weird for a guy with that much speed. Takes a strike, 1-1. Two 4-2 for Memphis, 1-2-1 for UCF here in the bottom of the third. Mentioned earlier today, you said Houston fell to ECU. I bet you they weren't thinking that they would have to face ECU in that elimination game, but the Pirates stay alive. Cliff Godwin, Coach of the Year once again, who was an assistant at UCF under Terry Rooney, who's Houston's pitching coach. Rooney moved on from UCF to Alabama 3 years ago, and Greg Lovelady, the head coach of the Knights, has been there ever since. 2-1. Caught on and missed, 2-2.
Despite ECU's loss to Wichita State, the 8th seed, Coach Godwin made the right move. This is a good pitch. It'll get by the bat here of Alejo. Throw the pitcher of the year. Throw Agnos, throw our guy, continue our run here in Clearwater. I think that gave the team a little shot of enthusiasm going into our first game today. They certainly capitalized on it, put 13 big runs on the board.
Also gave them a day off, too, because the next time they get to play is Friday. 2-2 to Ray Alejo. Misses outside, and we run the count full. You see the shadows have now crept across the entire field here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. Runner on first for UCF is Chandler Robertson, and Ray Alejo cuts on and hits this one high in the air, deep to left. Goodman going back, watches it go into Frenchies for a 2-run homer. Ray Alejo gives UCF a 3-2 lead with a 2-run shot. And for the junior, it's his 8th home run of the year.
How about that? UCF back on top of Memphis now, 3-2 with a powerful shot over the left field wall, deep into the night at Frenchies.
And I just got done saying that it's those 2-out walks that kill you. And that home run by Alejo gives UCF the lead. Look at where this thing landed.
To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, on the roof of Frenchies. For Alex Hicks, just his 7th home run given up on the year in 80-plus innings pitched. There's a souvenir up there if somebody wants it. Go grab a ladder.
And with Anthony George due up for UCF, we're going to have a visit to the mound from Russ McNichol, the Memphis pitching coach. Hicks is now over 60 pitches.
So the first home run in tournament play for UCF this year.
They've had some dramatic ones in tournaments past, haven't they?
Right.
Here's George stepping to the plate now. And he was swinging for the fences on that first offering, 0-1. Anthony George, a graduate of Haggerty High School, one of the newer high schools in the East Orlando area. That's just barely a mile north of UCF's campus. And that one's in there for a strike, 0-2.
2 extra base hits in the ballgame now for UCF. George had the first one back in the second, a double.
Three to 2 your score. UCF with the lead on a 2-run homer by Ray Alejo, and the 0-2 to George misses 1 and 2. Hicks wasted that one.
I don't think UCF is regretting anything, Jeff, but the caught stealing could have been a 3-run bomb.
But they got the 2-out walk, and that got Alejo to the plate with 2 out. So the Knights have scored 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and they now have the lead. 1-2. And George lines this one down in left, and that will go foul by just a few feet. So it looks like they're starting to get the timing down in the second trip through the order on Alex Hicks. Take a look at this.
This ball's kind of tailing away from the line. And that's probably 6, 7, 8 feet foul to the left of the line in the corner.
So we'll come back and do it again. 1 and 2 for Anthony George. And that one misses high, 2 and 2. Hicks has been working pretty slow since the start of this frame. Gave up the hit to Wingo. Wingo was caught stealing. 2-2. In there, strike 3 looking. George goes down to end the inning. But UCF gets 2 on a 2-run shot by Ray Alejo. They take a 3-2 lead into the 4th inning here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. It's the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity. So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
3-2 your score. UCF with the lead over Memphis in this elimination game as we go to the fourth inning here in beautiful Clearwater, Florida. Knights took the lead in the previous frame on a 2-run shot by Ray Alejo, and Grant Sherman steps out to the hill for his fourth inning of work, staked to that 1-run lead. And he will face 5, 6, and 7 in the Memphis order, leading off Alec Trella, the shortstop, who had a base hit his first time. And Sherman delivers for ball 1. So far, Sherman's given up 2 runs, 1 of them earned on 4 hits in 3 innings of work. Struck out 2. He hasn't walked anybody yet. Trella fouls that one off, and it's 1-1. Trella had a pretty good series against UCF in the regular season. In 3 games, he was 4 of 12 at the plate with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Takes the 1-1 high, and the count now 2-1.
According to the Memphis Media Guide, the Tigers lead the all-time series by a single game, 23-22.
But this is the first time that these two teams have met in the tournament, or at least in the American Athletic Conference tournament. They were Conference USA mates before that. 2-1 has popped up. Hernandez makes the play, 1 down.
Series with these two rivals didn't start till 2006.
Seems kind of weird if you're a fan of either of these two schools, considering this is the first time they've met in postseason play in baseball, but they've met in each of the previous 2 American Athletic Conference football championship games. Both of them thrillers in Orlando. 1 out, nobody on, and Cale Henneman, the third baseman, lays this one down on the third base side, and he's going to get a hit out of it as Anthony George couldn't barehand it.
Your only chance to make the play is the barehanded attempt. Couldn't pick that one up cleanly, so a bunt single. Good way to start the inning. Let's see the attempt here coming in by George.
That would have been a tough play either way.
I mean, it's a bunt single 9 times out of 10.
They did rule that a bunt single. So that's hit number 5 on the game for Memphis, and they have 1 on and 1 out. Nick Vogie at the plate. And he's ahead in the count, 1-0. Vogie in the regular season series against the Knights was 3 of 11 at the plate with a double and a homer. Memphis fans, I'm sure, would like a little bit more of that. He singled and scored his first time. Henneman, the runner at first, not a threat to steal. He does have 4 stolen bases in 5 attempts, but it's only 5 attempts. 2-0, and Sherman will check on him anyway.
Since joining the conference, Memphis has really done well in this tournament. You touched on it at the start. In 2015, they won a pair of games, sent 2 teams home. In 2016, they had their best run. They finished 1 victory shy of playing for a championship, 3 wins on the week.
Good pitch on the outside corner by Sherman.
And then in 2017, loss, win, loss. They sent Cincinnati home and fell to UConn. That's been their most common opponent, the UConn Huskies.
Yeah, back in 2016, they actually forced a second game on Saturday against UConn.
A 9-5 victory over Jim Penders' team. Ended up falling 5-0 in that second semifinal. And those were the eventual tournament champion.
That's right.
UConn Huskies.
As the year Anthony Kay was the leader on the hill for the UConn Huskies, now in the Mets system.
That's a pretty quick ascension.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised by that one bit. If you think back to the, if you pull up the video on that, on his performances in that conference championship, he was absolutely outstanding. (3-2) your score, top four, 1 on, 1 out. Nick Vogie facing a 2-2 count from Grant Sherman. And time is called at the very last second. Vogie yesterday in the loss to Cincinnati was 0 for 4 at the plate. 2-2. And this one is fouled off left side. As the sun is setting here in Clearwater, the wind looks like it's blowing in from right. Look at that shot.
Where else would you rather be?
Maui, probably.
Oh, come on.
We can't play this. We can't play a tournament there. 3-2 the count.
We talked about the history of Memphis baseball in this tournament. It has been over 20 years since the Tigers won a conference tournament. That was back in 1995, the Great Midwest Tournament. Guess who they beat? Cincinnati in the championship game.
Boy, those two teams have played quite a few times, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the payoff pitch with 1 out. And we'll come check the runner over at first. We talked about how odd the games were. Some of the games were yesterday. I mean, we saw a little bit of everything in that quadruple header. But for Memphis, they give up 11 runs to the team that was last in the league in most major offensive categories. This one's fouled back. We'll do it again. Great at bat by Vogie.
Cincinnati Bearcats hitting just .246 as a team, yet they're in the winner's bracket. They will play tomorrow against Tulane. That's our second game of the day.
And the payoff pitch misses ball 4. So a 1-out walk issued, and it's first and second now for Memphis. And that's the first walk for Grant Sherman. And it comes on pitch number 58. And Jason Santana now will step to the plate. Vogie's reached both times now. Santana reached on a fielder's choice, got credit for a sacrifice, and knocked in a run in the second. He's got a first and second now with 1 out. Takes up high.
Also has showed his worth in the field, cutting down a base stealer. Still looking for his first hit in this tournament, though. 0 for 4 yesterday against Cincinnati. But again, does have that run driven in.
Want to know the count? And Sherman, the lefty, working very deliberately here in the top of the 4th. Santana steps out. Well, Jason Santana is not the strongest hitter in the world, 221 on the season, but against UCF in the 3-game series, he was 4 of 11. He shows bunt and fouls it back. Santana, the senior, has played in 50 of 54 games for Memphis this year. As you see, the wind has shifted directions. It's now blowing in from right.
Sometimes it's hard to tell, kind of like an MC Escher picture. You can't figure out what you're looking at. The flags are coming towards us in the press box, so the wind blowing at the pitcher's back.
1-1. And that one misses inside, 2-1. And not just that, but the fact that the velocity of the wind is picked up too. You don't normally see the wind blowing in this park. The left field line runs parallel to the beach. So usually we're seeing the wind blowing out to right. Two and one. And Santana takes a strike. And the count now square at 2-2. Henneman's the runner at second. Vogie's the runner at first. Memphis down 3-2 here in the top of the fourth with one away.
I like what Santana's doing up there. He's not calling time. He's putting pressure on Schuerman, who's working very deliberately, kind of slowly with that runner on base behind him, making him pitch.
Here comes the 2-2. Popped up, back toward us and out of play.
Almost out in front of that one, back to 78 miles an hour on the house radar gun.
Yeah, the temperature's cooled a little bit too. It's down to 87. Come back and do the 2-2 once more with Sherman out of the stretch. And this is tapped foul left side.
Three players for UCF made all conference lists this year. All three are in action tonight. The starting pitcher, Grant Schuerman, Matthew Micah on the first team at second base, and the redshirt junior Ray Alejo starting out in the outfield tonight.
Alejo had the 2-run homer in the previous frame that gave UCF the 3-2 lead. But Jason Santana at the plate for Memphis has 2 on and 1 out. The 2-2. In the air and deep to left. Robertson's going back for it, and it is gone! A 3-run homer for Jason Santana. His 3rd home run of the season, and the Memphis Tigers retake the lead. 5-3 now your score.
Second home run of the week for Memphis. One yesterday, now a big one by Santana today. That one left out over the plate, and he was dead red all over it. That's all the way out to the bullpen, and a souvenir coming for somebody at Frenchie's.
5-3 now your score. That's the 6th hit of the game for Memphis. And Peyton Marshall, the 9-hitter, stepping to the plate still with 1 out. He cuts and misses 0-1. Well, I just got done talking about how Santana's not the strongest hitter in the world at 221, but his 3rd homer of the year and his 14th, 15th, and 16th RBI of the season gives Memphis the lead back at 5-3. 0-2. That one misses 1 and 2.
No one has pitched more innings this year for UCF than Grant Schuerman, the graduate transfer who came in. That is his 9th home run given up this season.
1-2. Caught on a miss, strike 3. Down goes Peyton Marshall, and we come back to the top of the order with 2 out and nobody on.
Nice recovery there by Schuerman. His 3rd strikeout of the game. Marshall, who hit into a double play in his last at bat, strikes out. All he can do is really flail after that one. Now the top of the order.
Here steps Ben Brooks, who's 0 for 2, struck out his first time, flied out his last time.
Memphis takes the early lead. UCF with a run, then 2 more in the 3rd. Now Memphis back on top.
And this one is ripped deep to left center. Robertson goes back. That one's gone. Solo home run, Ben Brooks, and Memphis is leading 6-3 now. His 1st home run of the season. Well, the big bats have come to play for the Tigers tonight.
And that'll send the bullpen scurrying down to the left field wall for the Knights. Let's take a look at Brooks. Logging on and getting gone for the first time in 2019. This one got up and just kept going all the way. Pops out of Frenchie's and the bar stools. And that makes it a 6-3 ball game.
4 runs in this frame for the Tigers on 2 home runs. The 3-run shot by Santana and the solo shot by Ben Brooks, his first of the year. And now Colton Neal steps to the plate, who homered yesterday for Memphis. Waves and misses at the first one, 0-1 with 2 out. And Sherman quickly ahead, 0-2, but the UCF bullpen now in action. He's given up 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned. Sherman has 3 strikeouts and a walk. And he's up over the 70 pitch mark here in the top of the 4th. The 0-2 to Neal. That one misses, 1-2.
Well, that puts a charge back in the Memphis Tiger fans who have made the trek down to Spectrum Field in Clearwater. Feeling good about their Tigers now. They've doubled up UCF.
And Neal taps this one up the middle. Fielding and throwing is Hernandez in time to end the inning. But Memphis gets 4 on a pair of home runs. A 3-run shot by Santana, a solo shot by Brooks, and the Tigers take the lead once more, 6-3 as we head to the bottom of the 4th here at the 2019 American Baseball Championship in Clearwater.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. The beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Postseason baseball coming to you live from Spectrum Field in beautiful Clearwater, Florida, and Memphis has retaken the lead on UCF 6-3. The Phillies making their spring training home here, headquartered facilities in Clearwater. UCF will bring Ben McCabe to the plate, and he'll single up the middle to get our innings started. So the ability for the Knights to answer here after giving up 4 runs in the 4th.
What an inning we had, indeed, with the 2 home runs. You know, Memphis, not all that well known for their power this year, but taking the lead on those 2 home runs, now up ahead 6-3. And if you're UCF, wow, you're behind. You took the lead back at 3-2 in this elimination game. Now you're down 3 runs, and Brandon Hernandez steps to the plate. And he takes a strike on the first pitch, 0-1.
You would think with the wind blowing in at the pitcher's back like it is right now that you could just kind of pitch downhill, throw fastballs, and let your defense pick you up. But the ball is flying out to left field.
Hernandez with a sac fly his first time. This is ripped down the line and foul out of play. Yeah, Memphis was tied for 5th this year in the American in home runs as a team with Houston at 40. UCF was 3rd at 53. They all pale in comparison to Tulane at 87 home runs. That's 30 more than the second place team, ECU. Check on the runner over at first. Brandon Hernandez facing an 0-2 count with McCabe over at first. Here's the pitch from Hicks, and that one's outside 1-2. Let's go down to Haley real quick. Haley?
Yeah, we just saw UCF catcher Ben McCabe, the freshman, make it to first base. And he's a rookie that's really stepped up into a primary catching role as a freshman this season. He struggled at the start, but he's been consistently getting on base as well as playing superb defense. And with all the injuries the UCF bullpen has faced this year, he's been a key part of helping that group fight their way through that.
Hernandez goes down on strikes, so McCabe is going to have to continue to sort of help them out, at least in this particular situation, on base. And he could use some help from his teammates, too. Matthew Micah now stepping to the plate with one down. And Micah pops this one right side out of play.
88 miles an hour on the offering from Hicks, who's now pitching with a 3-run lead.
Wonder how much you can loosen up out there on the hill when you're a starter. You know, he really struggled through that third inning. But now you're staked to a 3-run lead in this elimination game. It's still early, though. He checks on McCabe over at first. McCabe has 2 stolen bases in 2 attempts this year. Pitch number 76 from Hicks is in the dirt. Good stop by Santana. Micah is the #1 hitter in the UCF lineup. Struck out his first time, walked the second. He's got a runner on first and 1 out. Here's the 1-1. And that one is in there for a strike, 1-2. Mentioned Micah's weekend against Memphis earlier in the regular season. He hit .500, 4 for 8 with a double. But Memphis pitchers walked him 6 times. 1-2 is outside. UCF as a team drew the second most walks in the American, 254. 17 back of Tulane for first. The 2-2. And that one's in the dirt. Another good stop by Santana. Dallas Beaver on deck for the Knights. And Matthew Micah at the plate with a payoff pitch with 1 out. Runner goes. Micah puts that one through the hole and right for a hit. McCabe's round second. He heads into third easily as the throw is cut off. It's runners on the corners and 1 out for UCF.
First hit today and second of the week for Matthew Micah. Powers this one off the barrel of his bat, opposite field, and no doubt turning the corner at second. They'll have runners on the corners. No throw at third.
What a great piece of hitting by Micah, too. Getting it through that hole with the runner going as well.
Would you believe the second time today we had back-to-back homers? In the first game, ECU saw Burleson and Washer go back-to-back in the third inning.
And now Dallas Beaver steps to the plate. And this is a big spot for him. One for 2. Micah runs from first. No challenge on the throw. So now it's second and third and 1 out. We talked about power in this game. Well, Beaver against Memphis in the regular season had a 2-homer, 5 RBI game. For the series, he was 5 for 13 against the Tigers. And he takes that one for a strike, 0-2 with 1 out in second and third.
Good pitch, just catches the outside part of the corner. Dangerous bat, even with the wind blowing in.
The 0-2. Check the swing. Did he go? No. Says our third base umpire, Scott Wilkerson. Grady Smith is calling the balls and strikes. Matt Nieder is the umpire over at first. And Matt McKendry, the umpire at second. The 1-2 from Hicks. Beaver taps this one right side. Tough hop. Can he make the play in time? Yes, he can. Brooks with a nice sliding play over at second, but the run comes in to score. In the person of Ben McCabe, Micah advances to third, and the score is now 6-4 Memphis. Kind of an awkward.
He had to have lost his footing because he was taking a look down the third base line with the runner. You see him make it. The ball just kind of almost got past him into shallow right field. Great for him to recover and make the play, but Beaver drives in the run, makes it a 2-run game.
Well, you see Brooks laughing about it there. He said, that thing must have taken a right turn on me. Must have hit a pebble in the infield or something. That one might make the gag reel. Tyler Osick steps to the plate. That goes down as an RBI ground out for Beaver. And Santana makes the stop, 1-0. Osick walked his first time, flied out his second time. He's 0 for 1 at the plate. He's got a runner on third here and 2 out. And that one misses outside, 2-0. Micah's got speed over at third. He's got 33 stolen bases. And 2-0 is outside. They're just staying away from Osick here, 3-0. Got a base open at first if you want. And with Dalton Wingo on deck, although Wingo has a 285 average, Osick hitting 328 coming in. And that one catches for strike one. 3-1 now the count. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning. Memphis leading UCF 6-4. 2 out and a runner on third. The 3-1. Osick looks at a strike and the count runs full. Memphis scored 2 in the second. UCF answered back with 1 in the bottom of the second, 2 in the bottom of the third to take a 3-2 lead. But then Memphis fought back with a pair of home runs in the fourth to take a 6-4 lead. Knights have pushed 1 across in this frame. It's 6-4. That's where we stand. Here's the payoff pitch with 2 out. And Osick chops it foul. Come back and do it again. The righty hitters in the lineup, 7 of the 9 hitters are righties for UCF. They have to be liking this wind a little bit. Might give them a little bit more push to left, even though it's blowing in from right. Payoff pitch. Osick hits it into the wind in right. Underneath it is Marshall. He makes the catch, and that ends the inning. But UCF gets 1 back in the bottom of the fourth. We go to the fifth. 6-4 your score. Memphis with the lead over UCF in this elimination game. It's the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
We all dream about our next vacation. But some of us turn those dreams into action. The bookers, the doers, they hit that confirmation button and let's goers. Because bookers know that the perfect place to stay is right there for the booking. Be a booker at Booking.com, the world's #1 choice for booking accommodations.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Well, you better look out if you're sitting over at Frenchie's. We've had a few home run balls head that way. 6-4 your score. Memphis leading UCF as we go to the 5th. In this elimination game here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater, Florida, the 2019 American Baseball Championship. Grant Sherman, the UCF pitcher, heads back out onto the hill for his 5th inning of work. He's given up 6 runs, 5 earned on 7 hits. Walked 1, struck out 3, including that 4-run 4th inning. And he is facing 3, 4, and 5 in the Memphis order. Hunter Goodman, the freshman phenom, followed by Kyle Ouellette and Alec Trella. This is the meat of the Memphis order. Here's the all-conference performer Goodman. This one's roped right to Hernandez, almost ate him up. The throw is in time. It's high, but a good stretch by Osick to make the play. One down.
Tempted to say, look what I found, but he was placed perfectly for that ball, never gave up on it, and had to make a strong throw, too. Look how quickly this one gets up on him. One hopper has to just come around with it and fire a dart over to first. On the replay, he did get the toe down.
And that takes us to Kyle Ouellette, the DH. And this one's popped up right side. Osick going to give it a look, and it's 3 rows back. He can't get it. Ouellette struck out and popped out. He's a .301 hitter this year, .417 slugging. As there you see Sherman, who's looking for his 7th win of the season. In 90 innings, he's given up 84 hits. Those are the most updated stats that we have. Walked 21, struck out 54. There's Kyle Ouellette. Cuts and misses. 1-2 now the count. Ouellette's got 3 homers and 24 runs batted in on the season. 1-2. Cut on and miss, strike 3. And that's K number 4 for Grant Sherman.
Ouellette had a nice day at the plate yesterday, but he has not been able to reach swings through that one. His 2nd strikeout of the evening.
Good breaking ball right there by Sherman, too. So 2 down, no one on, and Alec Trella steps to the plate. Trella singled in the first, and he ropes this one down the line and left. It's out of here. Alec Trella with a 2-out solo shot, and Memphis gets the run that they lost in the 4th back. It's now 7-4 Tigers.
3 home runs in the ballgame now for Memphis. How impressive has this display been the last 2 innings? High fives abound for Trella. We previewed him in the open for a reason, Jeff.
Impressive piece of hitting. Take a look at this again. Off the end of the bat, and he still managed to get it down, to pull it over toward Frenchie's. Wow, what a shot. So Sherman has given up 3 home runs in this game. It's now 7-4, 7-8-2 for Memphis, 4-5-1 for UCF. And Cale Henneman takes a strike on the first pitch. He's 1 for 2, singled and scored in the 4th. For Trella, that's his 6th home run of the year. 0-1, didn't mean to. It will trickle fair. Sherman may have made a mistake, throws on, and Osick can't scoop it out. Boy, that was kind of in the Bermuda Triangle. Do you let that one go foul? Do you even bother picking it up? And it's a tough play for a lefty like Sherman to try and pick that one up.
I think the reason he went after it is because Hanneman didn't explode out of the box after he did it.
Yeah.
Thought he could get him there, but the throw one-hops the first baseman.
Even with Henneman not breaking toward first immediately, it looked like he still had, he didn't have that much time to make that throw. As we have Garrett Westberg warming up in the bullpen for UCF. Two out and a runner on first. And Nick Vogie steps to the plate. Vogie's reached both times. Singled and scored in the 2nd, walked and scored in the 4th. They rule that a throwing error by Sherman. That's the 2nd error of the game for UCF. Both teams have 2 errors in this ballgame. 0-2 now the count. Slight shift on for Vogie as Hernandez is midway between, or correction, Anthony George is midway between second and third. And now he shades even closer to second. And that one misses 1-2. Vogie the junior, 259 coming in. Lefty against lefty with 2 out. The 1-2. Cut on and missed, strike 3. And that will end the inning. It's the 5th strikeout for Shurman. But a solo home run by Alec Trella pushes Memphis back in front by 3. Your score 7-4. Memphis leading UCF as we head to the bottom of the 5th. It's the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the Air Force Reserve.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve our time in your community. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
A big save, a clutch hit.
Or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives. Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
Profanities or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
Seven to 4, your scores. The wind has picked up here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater, and the ball is flying out to left. We've seen 3 home runs by Memphis, including a solo shot in the previous frame. 2 home runs in the 4th for the Tigers, and they lead 7-4. Jeff Sharon, Garrett Woolvard here with you for this elimination game. We saw ECU eliminate Houston earlier today. Loser of this game goes home as well. Stepping up to the plate for UCF, 4, 5, and 6 in the order. Dalton Wingo will lead it off. And he taps this one, fouled it off of himself, 0-1.
3 home runs for Memphis, 1 home run for UCF. That's off the bat of Ray Alejo, who is due up 3rd in this inning. And I think Santana is okay. He was down on a knee.
Boys, he's taken a beating so far in just a game and a half. We saw him digging in the dirt, pitches out all day yesterday. That's one of the disadvantages of having to play in back-to-back days in the elimination bracket. Wingo fouls that one off. It's now quickly 0-2. Wingo's 1 for 2 on the day, singled in the 3rd, struck out in the 1st. He was 3 for 10 with a triple in the regular season series between these two squads. The 0-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. Alex Hicks with strikeout number 6. 1 down, nobody on.
This one starts in the middle of the plate, just tails away from the right-hander, and he couldn't lay off of it, swings the barrel right past it.
And that will bring up Chandler Robertson, who is 0 for 1. Lined out in the 1st, walked and scored in the 3rd. And Hicks delivers, and that one misses, ball 1. Hicks' season high for strikeouts is 8. He did that twice against Indiana in his first start of the year, and then against Middle Tennessee on March the 1st. Count now 1-1.
Pretty impressive. He's had 6 or more Ks 7 times.
He's also walked 3 in this ballgame through 4 1/3. Here's the 1-1 outside. Ray Alejo is on deck for UCF. He had the 2-run homer back in the 3rd. 2-1. Good breaking ball in there for a strike, and the count square at 2-2.
With a win, Memphis would secure finishing with at least a 500 record and not below it. They're currently 27-27. UCF, on the other hand, came in so far above 500.
The 2-2 outside 3-2. Yeah, the Knights came into the tournament at 34-20, but 11-13 in the conference. They dominated in midweeks, 14-1 in midweek games this year.
And they play the best.
3-2, misses inside. Robertson trots down to first with a one-out walk. That is the fourth walk given up by Alex Hicks. And that'll bring up Ray Alejo, who last time he was up with a man on, he put a ball on the roof of Frenchie's to give UCF a 3-2 lead. That was back in the third. He's reached both times. And he takes a ball outside from Hicks on the first offering. One out, runner on first is Chandler Robertson, who's 5 of 7 for stolen bases this year. Alejo with 8 home runs on the year. Swings and puts this one down the line. Great stop over at third. The throw to second to try and get the force, and they got him. Henneman with a fantastic play for Memphis. And Brooks with an excellent play over at second to erase Robertson at second. 2 down.
Half the battle was just getting to that ball as sharply as it was hit. A backhand stab and the presence of mind to turn, throw it to your buddy over at second base, and cut down the lead runner. Great stop, kept the foot on the bag the whole way.
Today, Brooks has been a vacuum cleaner out there at second today. Anthony George at the plate now with Alejo at first. They pitch out, nothing doing.
Had a right-hander getting warm for Memphis in the bullpen for the last inning. I think Coach Schoenrock likes that right-handed matchup against this UCF lineup.
Here's the righty Hicks, and that one's fouled off by George. 1-1 the count. George doubled in the second, struck out looking in the third. Averages up to 221 on the season. 143 with 2 out. And for Alex Hicks, he's about to go over the 100 pitch mark in this ball game. As we're here in the bottom of the 5th, George fouls that one off.
Both those pitches, 86 miles an hour, fouled off by George. Has one extra base hit in the ball game.
And Hicks has gone over 100 pitches 3 times already this year. Last time was against Cincinnati. He threw 119 back on May the 11th. That's his season high. Throw over to first, not in time. The 1-2, they'll check him over at first again. Alejo is pretty speedy, 15-20 on the base paths.
You saw him flinch there. Maybe a better throw to the left side of the bag would have made it more interesting.
One, two. Oh, it hit him. So George will trot down to first on a hit by pitch, and it's first and second, 2 out.
Team leading 9th hit by pitch of the year by Hicks. That one 85 miles an hour on the house radar gun. How far in did it come? Got him right under that left shoulder.
Far enough. So Ben McCabe now will step to the plate, and suddenly UCF has 2 on, down 3 here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 out. McCabe struck out looking in the second, singled and scored in the 4th. And that one catches the corner, 0-1.
Hicks started off the inning good enough, had a strikeout to begin the 5th, then gives up a walk. Runner comes on via fielder's choice, now the hit batter.
Alejo on second, and George at first. 2 out, and the 0-1. Left side, through for a hit. Alejo rounds third. He heads home. Here comes the throw. It's cut off, and it's now 7-5 Memphis. An RBI single for Ben McCabe, who's 2 for 3 on the day.
Great hitting by McCabe. Quickly gets this one out of the infield. Just powers it into shallow left field. The run will be waved around. No thought about Alejo getting a red light there. And a 2-run game.
And Brandon Hernandez, the number 9 hitter, will step to the plate. But it looks like we may have a new pitcher coming out as Darren Schoenrock gives a signal to bring out his bullpen. So we'll take a look at the new pitcher in just a moment here on the American Digital Network. 7-5 your score, with 2 out in the bottom of the 5th. And we'll be right back with a look at the new Memphis pitcher when we return to Clearwater in this elimination game at the American Baseball Championship presented by the Air Force Reserve.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is the means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health.
And promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to Clearwater Beach, the #1 beach in the U.S. as chosen by travelers on TripAdvisor. It's not just white sand and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast. Visit stpclearwater.com. Love the beach.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Are you mob? Get set. Let's go. It goes.
It's all right, huh?
NBA superstar.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes, zero sugar. Get more out of zero.
New pitcher for the ball game for the Memphis Tigers is the junior Dakota Metoxen. He's a 5'11", 205-pound junior from Franklin, Wisconsin. And he steps in a key situation here, 1st and 2nd in the bottom of the 5th and 2 out.
He's made 20 appearances, all in relief this year. No wins and losses with a 4.1 ERA.
And he faces Brandon Hernandez, the number 9 hitter in the UCF lineup. Hernandez flashes bunt, pulls it back, and takes a strike.
In 24 innings pitched, he's given up 26 hits, 11 earned runs, 12 walks, but 36 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .277 against the junior.
And he's in a huge spot here. 0-1, 2 out. Knights have pushed one across here in the bottom of the 5th, down 7-5 in an elimination game. Here's the 0-1. And it misses 1-1. Metoxen, the junior, sport and leisure management major.
He's going to run a hotel one day. That's how that works.
He's got, he's got a career ERA of 5.37, 1-1 record. As Hernandez fouls that one back. Hernandez today with a sacrifice fly in the 2nd. And struck out in the 4th. McCabe is the runner at 1st for UCF. George the runner at 2nd.
Second time this year that Metoxen has faced UCF in relief. In Memphis's win over the Knights, he threw an inning and 2/3 of scoreless, hitless relief and picked up his first save of the year.
2 out, 2 on. The 1-2. And Metoxen misses on that 92-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-2.
Dakota is the son of Shannon and Leanne Matoxen, an American Indian from the Oneida tribe out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. I remember seeing him last year in the conference tournament. Nice to see him back here. His all-time record, 1 win, 1 loss. And if UCF can never come back and equalize Memphis, he would be in line for his first win of the season.
2-2. Hernandez pops this one to right. Marshall underneath it. Snags it to end the inning, but UCF gets one back in the bottom of the 5th. 7-5 your score. Memphis leading UCF here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. It's the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the Air Force Reserve.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity. So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
7-5 your score. Memphis leading UCF in this elimination game as we head to the 6th inning here in Clearwater. 7-8-2 for the Tigers, 5-6-2 for the Knights. We have a new pitcher out there for UCF as well, as both teams are going to the bullpen here in the 6th. It's Garrett Westberg, the senior.
Westberg 2-5 on the year with 3 saves and a 3.61 ERA. Very good. 42 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 32 hits, only 17 earned runs, and has struck out 54. Opponents are hitting .215 against the senior.
He's a native of Washington State, Federal Way, Washington. Played 2 years at Tacoma Community College. And in his sophomore year last year, just outside of the Seattle area, he struck out 90 in 85 1/3 innings with a 1.17 earned run average. He is one of UCF's best relievers and has been a real find for them in a year where they've had a number of injuries in the pitching staff. And he will be charged with keeping Memphis off the board here in the top of the 6th, with UCF trailing 7-5 in its elimination game. The Tigers have scored 5 of those 7 runs in the last 2 frames.
For Grant Shurman, the numbers look like this: 5 innings pitched, 7 runs on 8 hits. He struck out 5, but gave up 3 home runs to the Memphis Tigers. In case you were wondering, for Memphis, how often they hit multiple home runs a game, this is the 8th multi-home run game of the season for the Tigers. 3 times they've hit 3 or more home runs. Their high water mark was against North Alabama when they hit 4 home runs. Guess who hit 2 of them? Goodman.
The guy who had the big blow tonight steps up to the plate now. Jason Santana. His last time up, he hit a long 3-run home run back in the 4th. And the first pitch from Westberg is fouled off. Santana officially on the day 1 for 1 with a homer and 4 runs batted in. He sacrificed in a run back in the 2nd. Not bad for your number 8 hitter.
I agree.
Memphis as a team in this game, 8 for 23 at the plate. UCF 6 for 21. Here's the 0-1 from Westberg. And that one misses 1-1.
Second time this season that Memphis has hit multiple home runs against UCF. Back on April 26th, Goodman and Trella went deep in a game that Shurman threw. They ended up losing that ball game, though.
The 1-1. In there for a strike, 1-2. Westberg has faced Memphis twice this year. In the first game of the 3-game set, he went 2 1/3. Walked 1, struck out 1. In the 3rd game, he threw 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, no runs, struck out 2, walked 1. And Santana fouls that one off. We'll do it again at 1-2.
What I think's great about UCF's pen is that you've got 5 different guys that have at least a save on the season. Westberg's one of them. He's second on the team, third on the team with 3 saves in 2019. You're able to go to so many guys to close out ball games.
1-2. That one misses outside 2-2. They're going to have to go a ways to close this one out. It's an elimination game. We've seen UCF give up 7 runs to this point on 8 hits. And we're in the top of the 6th. So they're going to have to get 12 outs here in order to give themselves a chance to stay alive in this tournament. 2-2. Fouled off, and we'll do it again. It's 8-9-1 due up for Memphis in this frame.
Westberg will step off for a moment. I like the way that the senior kind of closes off his body to the batter. He's literally facing at the end of his own dugout on the third base side. And then the big whip to the plate.
And that one misses 3-2. Kind of reminds you of a guy, I don't know if you're a Texas Rangers fan from back in the day, but Roger Pavlik used to do that. He would actually step toward third in his delivery. Westberg sort of hints toward that a little bit.
I mean, tons and tons of left-handed pitchers do that as well, specifically when they're holding a guy on.
3-2 is hit in the air to center. Alejo underneath it, makes the play, 1 down. And that'll bring up Peyton Marshall, the right fielder.
Santana battled a bit there. Got 7 pitches out of Westberg, but ultimately a fly ball out.
Yeah, Marshall steps up to the plate. Hit into a double play in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th.
See if the 300 hitter can set the table for the top of the lineup here. Only 1 out. Can he be a base runner?
The 0-1 is up high, 1-1. Marshall was 7th in the order yesterday during the Cincinnati game. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. He's quite literally been hit or miss this season. 300 hitter, but he's struggled so far in the tournament. He struggled against UCF, but this one is fisted into center for a bloop single. So that's Peyton Marshall's first hit of the tournament. He's 1 for 3 now, and with 1 out, Memphis has a runner on.
Marshall at the bottom of the order bloops this one in towards shallow center, and now the Tigers have matched yesterday's hitting output with 9. Here we are in the, remind me again, 6th inning.
6th inning.
Still plenty of ball game to go.
Back to the top of the order we go, and Ben Brooks, who hit a solo shot his last time. He's got a runner on first this time. And he takes a strike from Westberg 0-1. 7-9-2 for Memphis. 5-6-2 for UCF. Ben Brooks waves at and misses that one.
Jeff, there's no doubt about it. Hitting a home run feels great. But that's not Ben Brooks' game.
Right.
This is a different pitcher. You never know how the wind is shifted in between innings. What he needs to do is what he's done all season long. Put the ball in play, get on base. Let somebody else drive him around.
He's got 64 hits and 224 at-bats. With that home run in his last at-bat was his first on the season. He's got 10 doubles and a triple, though. 0-2. Hits it the other way, and Micah ranges over. He'll try and double off the runner, but he can't do it. 2 out and 1 on now.
Micah had a ways to go to get to that ball out there on the edge of the grass. Read it very well off the bat, though. Presence of mind. Gets it over to first base. Not quite in time.
Tough throw to try and turn your body. He still made a close play out of it. Colton Neal now at the plate. He's 1 for 3. Singled back in the first. Fouled out in the third and grounded out in the fourth. He had a solo homer yesterday to put Memphis up 1-0 against Cincinnati. And he takes a ball on that one from Westberg, 1-0. This is a pitcher against pitcher matchup, if you will. I know that Neal starts at center, but he's also the Memphis closer. He leads the team with 10 saves. 5'9" lefty. If Memphis has the lead, chances are we will see him on the hill tonight. The 2-0. Up high, 3-0. Westberg on the season with a 2-5 record, but he has 3 saves. He's thrown 43 innings, given up 33 hits. Struck out 54, more than twice the number he's walked, 26. .3-0. Yeah, he's in there for a strike, and Westberg's trying to fight back.
Don't let Neal's size of 5'9" fool you. He's solidly built, 190 pounds, and in high school at Memphis University High was a finalist for Tennessee Mr. Football, 60 career touchdowns as a tailback. Breaking ankles.
3-1. In the air, back behind us, and foul, and Westberg has fought back to fill up the count. George over at third. Remember the first at bat, they shifted on Neal. Well, George now that it's 2 strikes, he's heading back to a normal third base position, but he was in on the grass in the infield until before this next pitch. Two out, 1 on, and the 3-2 from Westberg. He steps off. You can feel the tension in this tournament ramp up today with the elimination games. Runner goes, and this one's line. Great play by Matthew Micah at second. Micah flashes the glove on what would have been a hit for Colton Neal, but that ends the inning. And Memphis can't push anything across. 7-5 your score as we head to the bottom of the 6th here at Spectrum Field at the 2019 American Baseball Championship, presented by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. The beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
To the bottom of the 6th we go, 7-5. Memphis leading UCF, the 7th seed leading the 6th seed in this elimination game here in Clearwater. Well, the top of the order is coming up for the Knights. Matthew Micah, Dallas Beaver, and Tyler Osick facing the Memphis reliever Dakota Metoxen, who pitched a third of an inning in the previous frame and faces his second batter of the game. The righty for Memphis, working out of the stretch exclusively, and delivers a strike to Micah on the first pitch. Micah struck out in the first, walked in the second, singled in the fourth, so he's reached base twice. And the 0-1 misses, 1-1.
Important for Micah to get on base here with Beaver on deck. Lead RBI guy. Let's see if they can drive him around. Played another run here. Keep clawing back. Trailing Memphis by 2.
Micah looks at a ball outside that time of the count, now 2-1. Metoxen has a career high of 2 1/3 innings pitched. So how long we see him might be a question. Micah pops this one foul and out of play. At 2 1/3 innings, he's actually done that twice this season. The most recent against Cincinnati a couple weeks back on May the 12th. Struck out 4 in that appearance. 2-2. Micah looks at that one inside, and the count's full at 3-2. Base is empty, no out. Pitch. Up high, Micah draws a walk.
Not a lot to see there with that rising fastball, 91 miles an hour, and Micah is exactly what UCF needs right now, a base runner.
So that's the second time Micah has walked in this game. He walked 6 times in the 3-game series in the regular season, so that's 8 times Memphis has walked Matthew Micah. The leadoff man is on with nobody out. Dallas Beaver steps to the plate. Beavers 0 for 3, reached on an error in the first and has grounded out twice. Micah bluffs a go, and Beaver takes a strike. You get the feeling this is going to be a critical trip through the order for UCF here in the bottom of the 6th. Down 7-5, and they've gotten to the Memphis bullpen. The 0-1, Micah again bluffs, and Beaver fouls it off. Greg Lovelady, the UCF head coach, played his college baseball at Miami, won a couple national championships. Regular season champions in his first year at UCF, now in his 3rd season. Won the Coach of the Year back in 2017. A catcher himself. Micah goes, Beaver swings, and it's fouled off.
109 victories for Coach Lovelady in his first 3 seasons. Only Miami coach, or only UCF coach that's ever had 30+ in his first 3.
It came over from Wright State, where he had a successful few seasons there. Was a member of some of those outstanding Miami teams that were in the College World Series more than a few times in the early 2000s. 0-2 to Beaver is inside. Let's go down to Haley. Haley?
Dallas Beaver at the plate for UCF, and he is a player on this team that just breathes positivity. He had an okay sophomore year, but this year he's been a consistent hitter. He's drawn a lot of walks, and he has a great relationship with his head coach, Greg Lovelady, and he's also one of the smartest kids on this team. He finished his bachelor's degree in 2 years, and he's going to leave UCF with a master's diploma in criminal justice and public administration. And this is a guy that the media loves to talk to, a great personality.
Well, he really is, and the thing also with Dallas is that's the catcher and catcher bond. We were just talking about Greg Lovelady, how he was a catcher at the University of Miami. And Beaver has grown to be pretty tight with Lovelady over the years. Both he and Micah have really been leaders amongst the teams, kind of almost like head coaches out there themselves. Beavers facing a 1-2 count with nobody out, and Micah at first. We talk about the speed of Micah on the base paths. 33 stolen bases on 39 attempts. So Metoxen is certainly mindful of that. Tyler Osick is on deck. One-two to Beaver. Micah goes. The throw from Santana is in time and erases Matthew Micah. Another fantastic throw by Jason Santana. The pitch is a ball. It's 2-2. But how about Jason Santana? We talked about him with the bat, and that's the second time he's gunned down a UCF runner at second.
Ball didn't get to him quickly, but boy, it came out of his hand and got out to second in time to apply the tag. Left side of the bag, they still were able to chop Micah down.
So now It's 1 out and the base is empty for Beaver, and a 2-2 count. Now that's not easy to throw out a guy like Micah, like we talked about. 33 stolen bases on the year. 2-2. Up high, 3-2. Beaver, a lefty, batting .312 on the year. Metoxen on the hill for Memphis. ERA of 4.01, but a whip of 1.63 on the season. He's got the bases empty, but a full count here to Dallas Beaver with 1 out. And the shift is on for Memphis. And he takes ball 4. That was a tough one, but Beaver laid off of it. And again, 1 on with 1 out for UCF. And that'll bring up Tyler Osick. Osick walked in the first, and he's flied out twice. He's looking for his second hit of the tournament. He was 1 for 4 yesterday. Osick was left on base. He left 4 guys on. Rather, he left 4 guys on base for UCF in that game against Tulane. Looked like McToxin and Santana got crossed up on that one, so they'll talk it over.
He's got to be careful here. Dakota Metoxen on the season has given up just 5 extra base hits, 4 doubles, only 1 home run. But Osick's a guy that could tie this ball game up in a hurry. Got to be careful he doesn't get something up in the air to left field.
Now we saw a brief look at both bullpens as we now are into the bullpens for both squads, but nobody warming up just yet for either team. 1-0 the count with 1 out and a runner on first. Metoxen throwing his 25th pitch of this relief outing, and that was in there for a strike. One. Osick lays off that one outside, and the count now 2-1. Neither of these teams this year have been very good with runners on. UCF was 7th. Or correction, I'll come back to that stat in a second. I was looking at the wrong thing. But Osick nonetheless with a 2-1. And this one's rope deep and foul left side.
Deep breath for Osick up there in the box. Even in the count, 2 apiece.
Starting to cool down now. We're down to 84 degrees and a nice breeze coming from the east. 2-2. Osick grounds this one over to third. Nice play by Henneman. He goes the short way to get Beaver. Oh, did he pull his foot off the bag? And time is called. I haven't seen a call yet, have you? We might have a replay here. It was a tough play because it looked like the throw over to second from Henneman may have pulled Brooks off the bag. And we might see a replay here, Garrett Wolford.
I saw Coach Lovelady come out of the dugout, start walking towards the bag at third, and then he turned around once the officials went to converse.
Yep. And they are going to take a look at this on the replay. So will we?
I think the original call was the out. That's what drew Lovelady out of the dugout. But the runner still standing on second base while the review is in effect.
So this is the first year that we have review. This should give us a real good look. This is what they're looking at. And that, well, there you see Brooks, and the ball's not quite in his glove, it looks like. Is his toe on the bag? You know, even in 2019, sometimes it's so hard to see these things conclusively, boy, is that close.
I know we're able to look at it frame by frame, but if you run it real time, what's it look like to the umpire out there?
Yeah.
I think he thought it was an out. That's what it looked like from up here. Nice to have the benefit of the replay system.
Oh, exactly. It just goes to show you that, you know, how tight these things are. Our home plate umpire is Grady Smith. Scott Wilkerson, the third base umpire. Matt McKendry at second. Matt Nieder at first. Grady Smith, I believe, is actually the one taking a look at it. You'll have to trust us when we tell you he's in there somewhere.
It was a hard hit ball by Osick down the third base line. Call should be coming.
And he's out. All right, they rule him out at they rule Beaver out at second. So it's 2 out and a runner on first. And that'll go down as a fielder's choice for Tyler Osick.
So a huge sigh of relief for Dakota Metoxen. Now just 1 runner on and 2 outs in the inning.
So we had Micah walk and then get caught stealing. Beaver walked and then was erased on that fielder's choice. Osick reaches on said fielder's choice, and now Dalton Wingo steps to the plate. He was thrown out attempting to steal earlier in the game, and he whistles this one into center and down for a hit. First and second, 2 out now for UCF. So how about that? Micah gets caught stealing after the leadoff walk. Beaver walks and is erased on the replay. And so now UCF has 2 base runners on with 2 out.
Pretty good start to the tournament for Dalton Wingo. 2 hits yesterday, 2 hits tonight. That'll bring up Chandler Robertson.
Robertson lined his first time and has walked twice. He scored back in the third. Big spot here, lefty versus righty with 2 on and 2 out. Down 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th in this elimination game. The 1-0. Robertson takes and is ahead 2-0.
That one on the inside part of the plate, fairly close, but Robertson's done a great job this week of drawing pitches out of the zone. He already has 3 walks over the 2 games.
UCF was second in the conference in walks, 254 on the year. And first in stolen bases with 88. As a team, 2-0. Outside corner for a strike, 2-1. Osick's at second. Wingo is at first. The 2-1 from Metoxen. In the air, left field, and foul. This UCF team offensively has been based on speed, and they have shown it throughout the year. We talked about how they're first in stolen bases and second in walks. They're also second in the conference in doubles on the year with 103. 3 teams had more than 100 doubles in the regular season: Memphis, Tulane, and UCF. 2-2. Robertson hits this one towards center. Neal watches it fall in front of him for a hit. The throw home is offline as Osick comes in to score, and it's now 7-6. RBI single by Chandler Robertson cuts the Memphis lead down to 1.
Robertson's got his 2nd RBI of the tournament. Neal does all he can to try and freeze the runner coming around third. No dice. UCF down by 2 will send the runner home and cut the lead to 1.
You know, the way Neil hesitated and where we're sitting, he was even ready to fool me out there in center field. Fantastic job there, but now Ray Alejo steps to the plate with 2 out and 2 on, and he's already homered today. He did that back in the 3rd. Knocked a 2-run shot onto the roof at Frenchie's. First pitch is in there for a strike. Alejo reached on an error and scored in the 2nd. Homered in the 3rd. And reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 5th. So he scored each time he's come to plate today. UCF would love that right now. Down 7-6 in this elimination game. The 0-1. That one just misses, and the count 1-1. Alejo, a redshirt junior. Hometown kid from Orlando, Florida. Here's the 1-1. Popped up in the air, and that'll fall out of play. Big spot for Ray Alejo here. Went to Boone High School in downtown Orlando. Originally went to Ole Miss. Left Oxford, transferred to Northwest Florida State College, and now finds himself back home at UCF. Here's the 1-2. Caught on and missed, strike 3. Dakota Metoxen with a huge strikeout to end the inning. But UCF gets another run back. They're within 1 after 6. 7-6 your score. Memphis with the lead in this elimination game. It's the 2019 American Baseball Championship, presented by the Air Force Reserve.
We all dream about our next vacation, but some of us turn those dreams into action. The bookers, the doers, they hit that confirmation button and let's goers. Because bookers know that the perfect place to stay is right there for the booking. Be a booker at Booking.com, the world's #1 choice for booking accommodations.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Hueso from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Back here in Clearwater, 7-6 your score in this elimination game as we go to the top of the 7th. Memphis leading UCF. Today was the elimination day after the quadruple header we had yesterday. Tomorrow we have the winners bracket games, Garrett, and we got some matchups for you tomorrow as well.
They're good. Just like today, they start at 3 o'clock Eastern time. You'll see UConn versus Wichita State. That'll be fun, the 4 versus the 8. And then our nightcap, Cincinnati versus Tulane.
How about Wichita State knocking off ECU yesterday? ECU fought their way back today to eliminate Houston on the other side of the bracket. Garrett Westberg back out there for UCF facing Hunter Goodman, who fouls the first pitch off. I'm sorry, go ahead. Goodman singled back in the 3rd. And that one's up high.
That was a great win by Wichita State, and a college baseball fanatic like myself to be able to look over and see Gene Stevenson, their former Hall of Fame coach, with a smile ear to ear watching his boys come away with the win over the #1 seed, the regular season champions. That's something special.
Westberg's 1-1, misses 2-1. Let's go down to Haley real quick.
Earlier in the broadcast, we talked about the senior leadership of this Memphis team, and it's a group that has really taken command this year. Even though some of them may not have much experience with this program, with 4 of the 9 seniors being transfers, they've really celebrated everyone's success, including Hunter Goodman's.
This one's popped up toward right, and a fantastic sliding catch in right field by Dalton Wingo retires Hunter Goodman.
2 very nice plays in a row to retire a dangerous bat. Last one at shortstop. This one, the diving slide to his left, and that one stays in the glove.
That one, yeah. Looked pretty tight there for a little bit, but I think it looks like he got it. I haven't seen any challenge from Memphis either. So with one out, Kyle Ouellette steps to the plate. Westberg has given up 1 hit. No strikeouts, no walks so far. Ouellette takes the ball. One out and no one on, and Ouellette lays off that one. It's in there for a strike.
Looks like Ouellette, the only Memphis Tiger not to reach base tonight.
1-1. That one's fouled off. Westberg might be in for a while. His game highs in terms of innings pitched, he's gone 3 innings twice. Last time was against Houston last weekend, May the 17th. Threw 54 pitches in that outing. 1-2. Just misses in the count now, 2-2.
91 miles an hour there by Westberg.
Westberg says his favorite pitch to throw is the high heater. Let's see if he's got one here on a 2-2. Caught on and missed, strike 3. Throws the breaking ball instead. Ouellette might have been thinking what I was thinking. 2 down, nobody out.
6 strikeouts in the ballgame now for the Tigers up at the plate. First one there by Westberg recorded.
And with 2 out and nobody on, the shift to left field is on for Alec Trella, who's having himself a night. 2 for 3 with a single and a home run. And the first one is outside.
3 different Tigers have homered tonight. Hunter Goodman, not one of them. 3 times this season, Goodman has hit multiple home runs in a game. He has not been part of that hit parade this evening.
And he also hasn't gotten that elusive 68th RBI yet. That one's up high. Count 2-0. They're staying away from Trella here.
Be interesting to track how many RBIs Gardner had coming into the conference tournament last year, because that's a team in Louisville in 2014 that played in the regionals, supers, and in Omaha. He'd have those extra games on his ledger.
This one's fouled off, and the count now 2-1. Let's take a look at that home run earlier by Alec Trella.
Trella turns on one here in towards the corner in left field, sneaks it inside the pole, and with the Bash brother, boom!
You know, it's like we said, this is a Memphis team that's not known for its power, but they've hit 3 home runs today. Here's the 2-1. Trella waves at that one weakly, though, and the count now 2-2.
Certainly an elevated pitch that he went after there. Watch this one rise up on him. Eye level.
That's some high heat from Westberg right there. Here's the 2-2, and that one misses low. Registers 92 on the gun. There's the one up high. Look out. So well, you're sitting on high heat, and then all of a sudden it's higher than the high you're expecting.
So 3 nights sitting on the left side of the infield against Trella.
And the payoff pitch misses, ball 4. Trella walks.
You could see from his body language there, he was prepared to go with a pitch, maybe try and spray it through the right side. But he'll stand on first base now. First walk issued by Westberg.
And now Cale Henneman will step to the plate. Henneman's 1 for 3 on the day. Singleton scored back in the 4th. Reached on an error his last time. Trella over at first, not really a threat to steal. He's 4 for 5 on the season. And Westberg's first offering misses ball 1.
George in on the grass at third base for UCF.
One-0 in the air in the infield. Let's see who calls for it. Micah at second takes care of it, and that ends the inning. So UCF holds Memphis off the board in the top of the 7th. Time to stretch here in Clearwater. 7-6 your score. Memphis with the lead over UCF at the American Baseball Championship, presented by the Air Force Reserve.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve our time in your community. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
Coaches and team representatives.
power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
Back here in Clearwater, 7-6 your score. Memphis, as we're done stretching here at Spectrum Field. UCF Knights making the 75-mile trip down from Orlando, trailing in this elimination game, and Memphis has gone back to the bullpen once again. New pitcher in the game is Hunter Smith.
It's interesting that Hunter Smith would come out, one of the weekend starters. 15 starts, 5-7 on the year with a 6.06 ERA. You'll also potentially see Colton Neal if this lead holds up in the 9th inning. In 78 2/3, Hunter Smith on the year has given up 96 hits with 78 strikeouts, 23 walks. Opponents are hitting .302 against him. And Jeff, he's given up a team-high 11 home runs on the year.
Now the lefty comes out against a UCF lineup that has only 2 lefties in it. But a chance to throw a change of pace, up by 1 run in the bottom of the 7th. And the bottom of the order due up for UCF. Anthony George, Ben McKay, Brandon Hernandez. So George steps in. He doubled his first time, struck out in the 3rd, and then was hit by a pitch in the 5th. First pitch from Smith is fouled off. Has that unusual delivery where he turns pretty quickly on the kick. There's George, another local kid who stayed at UCF.
Hunter Smith started the April 26th game against UCF and only lasted 2 innings in that start. Was blistered for 7 hits, 9 runs, 8 were earned. But I think he's kind of the bridge, though. If you can maintain this 1-run lead, get an inning out of him. If he looks really sharp, maybe 2, and then turn it over to Neal, who leads the team in saves, you could secure the win.
The 0-2 to George is grounded over to 3rd. Trella with plenty of time, 1 down.
And then there, of course, is the potential to have him pitch later on in the week should you advance.
Yeah, that game he did pitch against UCF. That was the first game of the series where Memphis almost came back and won that game. As you see Darren Schoenrock in his 35th year in college baseball, 15th season at Memphis.
31 of his former Tigers selected in the Major League Baseball draft. Again, another major award winner in the American with the freshman position player of the year in Hunter Goodman. You got a beautiful ballpark there in Memphis as well, right near the river.
Yeah, FedEx Park, yeah. Coach Schoenrock has seen his teams exhibit quite a bit of scrappiness in this tournament as Ben McCabe is ahead in the count 2-1. Just talking about Hunter Smith in that game that he started against UCF when he got blistered in those 2 innings. UCF jumped out to a 10-1 lead in that game. But Memphis fought back and scored 2 in the 9th before UCF was able to close it out, 12-11. McCabe swings and misses strike 3. First strikeout for Hunter Smith.
Smith now has 79 Ks on the year. He's top 10 in the conference. That was the great thing about Memphis' staff as he pounds them inside there. 3 different pitchers, Hicks, Durham, and Smith, all top 10 in single Ks.
And that brings us to Brandon Hernandez, the number 9 hitter with 2 out and the base is empty. He takes a ball. Smith working very quickly here, the lefty is, deals a strike on that one.
Memphis has rewritten their team strikeout records for the pitching staff the last couple of seasons. Every pitch from here on out just extends the record.
1-1. In there for a strike, 1-2. Hunter Smith, a 4-year Tiger. For his career 11-10, this is career appearance number 67. 1-2, misses in. Look at how quickly he's working here to try and keep UCF off balance.
That last strikeout of McCabe was the 500th of the year for the pitching staff for the Tigers.
2-2. Hernandez grounds it just foul, wide of third. This year was Smith's career high in starts with 15. It's his first relief appearance. Previous 3 years, he only started 6 of his 41 appearances prior to this year. Two. Hernandez watches that one, and the count runs full. Micah is on deck here in the bottom of the 7th. 7-6 Memphis, your score. Winner goes on to Friday. Loser goes home. Here's the payoff pitch to Hernandez, and he strikes out to end the inning. So Hunter Smith goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 7th. We go to the 8th. 7-6 your score. Memphis leading UCF here in Clearwater.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is the means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health.
And promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to Clearwater Beach, the #1 beach in the U.S. as chosen by travelers on TripAdvisor. It's not just white sand and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast. Visit stpclearwater.com. Love the beach.
We go to the 8th here in Clearwater, the home of the Philadelphia Phillies in the spring, also the Clearwater Threshers of the Florida State League, affiliate of the Phillies here in beautiful Clearwater, Florida. Spectrum Field hosting the American Athletic Conference Baseball Championship once again. And the Memphis Tigers leading UCF, the 7 seed leading the 6, 7-6. In an elimination game, Garrett Westberg back out there for UCF into his 3rd inning of relief. And he will face 7, 8, and 9 in the Memphis order. Nick Vogie leads off and takes a strike on the first delivery. Vogie singled and scored in the 2nd, walked and scored in the 4th, struck out in the 5th.
Westberg's been pretty good in relief those 2 innings, giving up just 1 hit, a strikeout, and a walk, all scoreless.
Vogie taps that one back. Looks like it hurt the umpire back there. Right on the arm. 0-2 the count. Catcher Dallas Beaver out there to talk to Garrett Westberg.
Nobody gives enough credit to the umpires how tough those guys are, especially behind the plate. Off the bat, ping pong, off the face mask and into his right forearm.
And nobody gives catchers enough credit for that, too, apparently. Our home plate umpire today is Grady Smith. Grady wearing one of those old-style masks that you see, as is Dallas Beaver. Not one of the hockey goalie-style masks that sometimes you see catchers wear. And when you take a foul ball off of one of those masks, man, it will smart for a while.
You don't even have time to blink as it comes off the bat.
0-2. And this one's lifted to center. Alejo charging in. Hernandez going out. It falls for a bloop single. Leadoff hit in the bottom of the 8th for Nick Vogie. His second hit of the day, and Memphis has the leadoff man on.
So the tying run, the run standing on first base, chance maybe for a little insurance. Tough for Alejo to get there. That ball just kind of hung up for a while, but finishes well in front of him. Dangerous bat coming to the plate.
Jason Santana, who has hit a 3-run homer already today, back in the 4th. He's 1 for 2 at the plate. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd as well. Third baseman George playing in on the grass, and Santana shows bunt, and they stay away from him, ball 1. Vogie has only 2 stolen bases on the year over at first. He's been caught stealing 3 times. Santana showing bunt again. George creeps in. The runner goes, and it's fouled off. So Santana pulled back the bunt and fouled it away. How about this chess match right now between Westberg on the hill, George over at third, and Santana at the plate?
Kind of an unlikely 3-run home run by Santana. He had just 2 on the year. Only one of them came in conference play. The other was against Arkansas early in the season.
Memphis with that 7-6 lead right now. 4 of those 7 in the 4th. He lays down the bunt here. Westberg fields. He'll go the short way to second and get the lead runner. How about that play by Garrett Westberg? Good job by Hernandez, also covering over from short. So Santana reaches on the fielder's choice. And the result is runner on first and 1 out.
Jeff, I'd like to see a radar gun on this throw from Westberg to second, because it was a bullet. Spins, comes inside on the shortstop, and gets him by a slide.
And we have a pinch hitter coming to the plate for Memphis. That's Evan Bell. Bell on the season as he steps in. We saw him yesterday in a pinch hit opportunity. He's 5'9", 200 pounds. He's a redshirt sophomore from Oak Park, Illinois. Takes a ball on the first pitch.
Bell singled in his pinch hit yesterday, back in the 8th inning.
Business economics major, this year hitting .333, as that one's fouled back. In the regular season, he only made 4 starts, 24 appearances, but was 6 of 18 at the plate. 6 runs batted in and 1 home run. Saw a little bit more regular time last year, 40 appearances. 11 of 66 at the plate. He's got a runner on first and 1 out. This is hit high and deep to center, but Alejo is underneath it. The wind blew it back, and Alejo makes the play. 2 down.
Coach Schoenrock wanted a right-handed bat there, brought in Bell for Peyton Marshall. That's who he subbed in for yesterday. Marshall had just gotten a hit back in the 6th, his first of the tournament, but going with the percentages there.
And back to the top of the order we go. Ben Brooks. Brooks had that solo homer back in the 4th. He's flied out twice and struck out.
That was the first of the sophomore's career.
Got a big spot here with a runner on first, and this one gets past the catcher. Santana rounds second. And suddenly Memphis has an insurance run in scoring position with 2 out. They rule out a wild pitch.
5th of the year for Westberg in that category. That's tough. Beaver did all he could to knock her down.
And now things tighten up for UCF. You can't afford to make a mistake at this point. Down 1 run in the 8th inning. And it looks like we will have a visit to the mound. Not sure if we'll see a new pitcher just yet.
The assistant coach, Audie, makes the call.
And we will indeed see a new pitcher. So Garrett Westberg trots back to the dugout after 2 2/3 innings of work. He's responsible for the runner on second. We'll get the word on the new UCF pitcher in just a moment here in Clearwater. 7-6 Memphis in the top of the 8th. It's the American Baseball Championship presented by the Air Force Reserve.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Hueso from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Are you mob? Get set. Let's go. It goes.
Sorry, huh?
NBA superstar.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes, zero sugar. Get more out of zero.
New pitcher in the ballgame for UCF is Kyle Kemp, the redshirt senior from Port Charlotte, Florida, just down I-75 from the Tampa-St. Pete area. Graduate of Port Charlotte High School, came to UCF from Lipscomb.
6'2", 215 pounds. The redshirt senior has made 21 appearances, all of them in relief. No record. He's 2.28 with the ERA and is second on the team with 4 saves. So he's been in positions like this plenty of times for Coach Lovelady. 27 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up just 13 hits, 8 runs, 7 of them were earned. And again, in 27 2/3, he struck out 35, walked 19. Opponents hitting a miserly 138 against Kemp.
In his prior stop at Lipscomb, he played for 3 seasons, redshirted back in 2015. So he's one of the veterans on this team. 53 career appearances for the Bison, with a 6-7 record and a 4.76 earned run average. He struck out 128 over 126 2/3 innings. So he was a strikeout artist for the Bison. Comes in here in a critical spot, though. 2 out, and Jason Santana, the runner on second, and Ben Brooks, the #1 hitter in the Memphis lineup, coming to the plate. This is an elimination game. We saw Houston get eliminated by ECU earlier today. Here you see Santana, who had a 3-run homer earlier today. That was the big blow for Memphis. Put them up 6-3 at that point. They led 7-3 after 3.5. UCF has chipped away at it. Or excuse me, after 4.5, I beg your pardon. Knights have chipped away to 7-6. 7-10-2 for Memphis. 6-8-2 for UCF.
Fans taking in the nightcap here. They've got a nice competitive game, just like the regular season series was between these two teams. UCF wants to get one more out in this inning, and it'll be the top of the order for them when they come back up.
So here is Brooks. He is 284 on the season. 246 with 2 out. Takes a ball inside from Kyle Kemp. And with runners in scoring position, Brooks not very good this year, 158. He hit a home run earlier. That was his first career home run. The 2-0. Stares at that one, 3-0.
Kemp's got that powerful build at 6'2", 215. He turned 23 back in March, so a veteran out there on the hill for this team. Got to throw a couple of strikes and try and end the inning.
Jason Santana, the catcher, stands at second. The 3-0 to Brooks. And he misses ball 4. Walked him on 4 pitches. That's probably not what you want to do with the lefty Colton Neal now stepping to the plate.
Kemp has been so effective this year. Just the 20th walk that he's given up.
But now the pressure ratchets up another couple notches with 2 outs, first and second, and the righty Kemp now facing the lefty Neal, who homered yesterday against Cincinnati. Today, Neal is 1 for 4 at the plate. He singled his first time, fouled out, grounded out, lined out. But with Memphis already up 1 run, it's pivotal for UCF to hold them scoreless in this frame. First pitch to Neal, grabs the outside corner for a strike.
We were talking about what Memphis is going to do with their pitchers as the game goes on. Hunter Smith, so effective coming in relief the last inning. Maybe we won't see Neal try and gut out a 2-inning save.
Well, Neal at the plate this year, 346 with runners in scoring position, but only 167 with 2 outs. So something's got to give here. The 0-1. That one just misses, and the count now 1-1.
Santana standing off second base for Memphis. Ben Brooks with the 4-pitch walk on first.
Neal has 59 hits on the year, 32 runs batted in. One. And that one misses on the outside corner, and the count now 2-1.
Fastest pitch we've seen so far from Kemp. That one 93 miles an hour on the outside part of the plate.
Two-1 to Colton Neal. Kemp slowing things down here in the top of the 8th, with his team down 7-6, and Neal stares at a strike, and it's 2-2. Temperatures drop down to 82 degrees and breezy here in Clearwater this evening. Beautiful night for baseball. Kemp fires the 2-2. Caught on and missed, strike 3. Huge strikeout for Kyle Kemp to end the Memphis threat. The Tigers can't push across any insurance, and your score remains 7-6 as we head to the bottom of the 8th in this elimination game in Clearwater and the 2019 American Baseball Championship presented by the Air Force Reserve.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity. So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
A hot, humid day has become a beautiful, breezy night for baseball here in Clearwater. Jeff Sharon, Garrett Woolvard with you here at Spectrum Field, home of the Phillies and the 2019 American Athletic Conference Baseball Championship. And we've got a tight one in this elimination game between UCF and Memphis. The Tigers leading the night 7-6 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. The top of the order is coming up for UCF. The 6th seed with an RPI in the 40s, fighting for their NCAA tournament lives. 1, 2, 3 in the order doing up, and it's Matthew Micah, the senior, who's 1 for 2 today with a pair of walks. And he takes a ball on the first pitch from the lefty Hunter Smith, who's heading into his 2nd inning of work. And Smith working quickly, up high, quickly behind in the count, 2-0. This is the spot for UCF with your season on the line and the top of the order coming in this frame. 2-1.
UCF's got to do a better job of battling at the plate. Of their last 4 batters, 3 have struck out.
2-1. Micah has to dance out of the way of that one.
It's almost like Santana is sending the signals the second he throws the ball back, how quick he's working.
And that one catches the outside corner. So just like that, it's a full count to the senior Matthew Micah. .319 hitter on the season. And he grounds this one. It's going to be a tough play over at short, and Trella can't make it. It goes into the outfield. So Micah reaches to lead off the inning. Let's see if they rule that a hit, and they do. So it's the 9th hit of the game for UCF. And the 2nd hit of the game for Matthew Micah. He's reached base 4 times now. By the way, a little lineup news for you. Bell is in right field for Memphis. He pinch hit for Marshall. And now Dallas Beaver steps to the plate with the speedy Micah on. And Beaver shows bunt and gets plunked. And just like that, UCF now has the go-ahead run on base.
As good as Smith was in the 7th, struggling here to start the 8th, the single, the hit batsman, now 2 on behind him with nobody out.
And here comes Tyler Osick.
It was a breaking ball that didn't come inside on the left-handed hitter.
So Micah on second, Beaver at first. Osick steps to the plate. The senior first baseman has reached base twice today, once on a walk back in the 1st, and once on a fielder's choice in the 6th. He scored that time. And the righty will face the lefty Hunter Smith, who's now slowing down his cadence on the hill. And here we go in this critical spot. Bottom 8, UCF down 1. And time is taken. How about Smith really slowing it down now?
Osick's got a battle up there at the plate. He's just 1 for 7 in this tournament, hitless today. 3-hole hitter trying to produce with 2 on.
And no pitch thrown yet.
Loudest we've heard the UCF fans so far in the tournament, trying to affect the outcome, pulling hard for their boys.
Osick is .323 on the year. He's got 12 doubles, 10 homers. And he taps this one up the middle. It's fielded. They step on second and throw on to first in time for the double play. Alec Trella makes the play over at short. It's a 6-3 double play. Micah advances to third, but now there's 2 out for Dalton Wingo.
I think Coach Lovelady wants a review to see if he actually stepped on the bag there. Each coach has 2 review challenges available to them during the ball game. The officials will converse just to the left of the mound.
And now we're in the 8th inning, so the additional replay rules come into effect, where you can look at more things than you usually could during the first few innings.
I'm assuming that's what his issue with it was. I can't imagine.
And they are going to take a look at it. So home plate umpire Grady Smith will take a look at the monitor. And we might get the chance to take a look at it with him here on what could be a really critical replay. Granted, if the double play stands, it's going to be Micah on 3rd and 2 out, and he represents the tying run. But the question is, did Trella keep his foot on the bag? Recap of this game so far. Memphis jumped out 2-0 in the top of the second. Let's take a look at what the umpires are looking at here on the play by Trella. There you see him on the left side of your screen.
Did his foot tag the corner of the bag?
Ooh, that's close.
It is questionable. And Lovelady, who likes to stand at the end of the dugout, had a very clear view of that one.
You know, the one thing about replay, which I think is a good thing in baseball at all levels where we employ replay, is it removes the neighborhood play.
Here's a zoom in on the replay. Did he have his foot on the corner of the bag?
That's as close as it gets.
You had Matt McKendry over there taking a look at it, just feet away from the bag. He had to change his positioning. Did the corner of his foot get the bag or not?
You know, back before replay, they would have just ruled that an out. We wouldn't have had the look at it that we do now. But now you've got to see if the fielder actually tagged the bag, which, you know, for those of us who like the lawyerly aspects of baseball, yes, you have to touch that bag in order to record the out.
Great point. And I like the fact that it's different than the NFL review where we have to have incontrovertible evidence. But the fact that, what do you see on there? It doesn't matter if we called it a double play. Let's get it right. Let's take a look at it here. It's hard to tell from that angle whether he's got the corner of his foot on the bag.
And they rule him out at second. So it is a double play. Now Micah stands on 3rd. So that's the second time UCF has been on the wrong end of a replay in this ball game, but still the tying run is 90 feet away, and Dalton Wingo, the cleanup hitter, is at the plate.
For Memphis, their first double play of the game, UCF turned one back in the second.
Wingo is 2 for 4, struck out twice and singled twice. Chance to tie it up here with 2 out. And he waves and misses at the first one. Hunter Smith has given up 1 hit in his 2 frames of work so far. 2 strikeouts, hasn't walked anybody. Although he did hit a batter. 0-1 is outside.
Dalton Wingo, your leading hitter for UCF in this tournament, 4 for 8 so far. No bigger at-bat, though, than this one, trying to extend the season with a man on 3rd.
Memphis playing him straight away. The 1-1. Popped foul.
Wingo doesn't shorten the stroke there, really gave that a powerful hack. 88 miles an hour out of the left hand of Smith.
Wingo on the year, updated average 289, but he is 309 with runners in scoring position this season. He was 3 for 10 with a triple in the regular season series between these two squads. He's got a 1-2 count here, though, with Micah on 3rd. And that one's outside, and the count square at 2-2. Chandler Robertson is on deck should Wingo reach.
91 miles an hour there, showing him some of that fastball.
Two. Wingo fouls that one off, just barely got a piece of it. With runners in scoring position so far tonight, UCF is just 2 of 11 at the plate as a team.
Only player for the Knights who's driven in more runs on the year is Dallas Beaver. 42 RBIs for Dalton Wingo. Can he come through here in the 8th?
The 2-2. Left side. Great stop at short by Trella. Can he make the play? No. Wingo is safe at first. Mike is safe at home, and we are tied at 7. It'll be an RBI infield hit for Dalton Wingo, and we are all square in the bottom of the 8th.
5th hit of the weekend for the big guy, Wingo. The cleanup man comes through, and we're brand new in the 8th.
And now Chandler Robertson, the left fielder, will step to the plate with the go-ahead run on first and 2 out. Both teams with 7 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors in this game.
With the tie, that erases Dakota Matoxen, who was in line for the win.
Robertson pops a bunt back toward us. Look out over there. The left fielder, 282 on the season. He's reached base 3 times. Twice he's walked. He's singled in a run back in the 6th, his last time up. Robertson has 1 home run on the year, 9 doubles. Looking for his 50th hit of 2019. The 0-1. Popped foul wide of third this time. Well, UCF was trailing 6-3 after 3.5, 7-4 after 4.5. But have fought back to tie it at 7. With 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and 1 here in the 8th.
They've scored in all but 2 innings tonight.
The 0-2 to Robertson. Takes one outside, and it's 1-2. Hunter Smith is approaching 30 pitches. Wingo, the runner at first, and the 1-2 is tapped foul. Robertson fighting Smith tooth and nail in this at bat. Smith this year with an ERA of 6.05, but a whip of 1.51. With 2 outs, opponents are hitting a robust 296 against him. We'll do the 1-2 again. Runner goes. Throw by Santana is in time. His 3rd caught stealing of the evening, and that ends the inning. But UCF fights back to tie it up at 7 through 8 full. We go to the 9th. All square here at Spectrum Field. It's the American Baseball Championship presented by the Air Force Reserve.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
We go to the 9th in this elimination game in Clearwater, tied at 7 between UCF and Memphis. Jeff Sharon, Garrett Woolvard here with you on day 2 of the American Athletic Conference Baseball Championship. Kyle Kemp back out on the mound for the Knights. He will face the middle of the Memphis order, 3, 4, and 5. Hunter Goodman will lead off. The conference newcomer position player of the year, 328 average. He's got 67 runs batted in, which is one shy of the conference record. And he's 1 for 4 today with a single. Sorry, Garrett, go ahead.
In 2 games, he's 2 for 9 here in the tournament with 1 RBI.
He had a double yesterday against Cincinnati, and the first pitch from Kemp is cut on and missed for a strike. That single came back in the 3rd. Goodman, this year, 78 hits, 67 runs batted in. He struck out 54 times, walked only 9. 0-1 is fouled off, and he's quickly behind 0-2 to the 5th-year senior Kyle Kemp.
Colton Neal with 10 saves on the year for Memphis. He is their stopper. He struck out to end the last inning. I'm wondering why he's not warming up in the pen. Too early to go to him? Do you want him to have to come out of center field and warm up on the hill? Are you going to throw Hunter Smith back out there? Love to see how the pieces work.
The 0-2 is outside, 1-2. We see some action in the UCF bullpen, but none in the Memphis pen. Looks like I see 2 pitchers down there warming up, 1 righty and 1 lefty. Kemp has walked 1 and struck out 1. Here's the 1-2. That one misses, and we're even at 2-2. Kemp has struck out 36 in 28 innings pitched this year.
Don't want to lose Goodman here. He's scored the most runs on the team, has double-digit stolen bases, good runner out there.
And he's just a freshman, if you can believe that. He takes that one, good eye, and the count is now full.
Kemp pumped that one up, 94 miles an hour.
So we'll pay it off here with nobody out and nobody on here in the top of the 9th in a tie game. Goodman wondering about what's taking Kemp so long now. Kemp delivers, and he swings and misses, strike 3. Big strikeout for Kemp.
Hunter was saying that he called for time. Home plate umpire didn't give it to him. Unhappy with the strikeout.
And that's 2 straight Ks for Kyle Kemp.
Went down low.
Yeah, I thought I saw him flash his right hand back to the umpire, calling for time twice, and the umpire just kind of nudged and said, no, we're going to wait here. First pitch to Kyle Alejo, who swings for the fences on that offering and misses 0-1. 94 on the gun from Kemp. Alec Trella, who homered earlier today, is on deck. Now, you mentioned earlier, Garrett, that UCF has scored at least a run in all but 2 frames in this game. Memphis put up a 4 spot in the 4th. 1-1. Tap to short. Hernandez. 2 down. And here comes Alec Trella. The Memphis shortstop homered back in the 5th. Also picked up a single in the 2nd. So he is 2 for 3 on a day. Walked his last time in the 7th. And UCF has the shift on as Matthew Micah, the second baseman, is on the third base side of the second base bag. And that one misses 1-0. These two teams locked in an elimination game, having both lost yesterday. Memphis lost to Cincinnati 11-6. UCF lost 5-2 to Tulane. Despite 2 excellent pitching performances from both starting hurlers in that game for UCF and the Green Wave. Trello looks at that one, and the count 2-0. Meanwhile, Memphis lost to Cincinnati. The Bearcats, even though they're the 2 seed, were last in the league in scoring this year and scored 11 runs in that game. 2-0. Outside 3-0.
That was really the only game yesterday that got out of hand. We have a tie ball game here. It's one of 3 games we've seen early on that was within 3 runs between the 2 teams. Very competitive over the first 2 days.
Three and 0. And that one misses inside, ball 4. Why not? You have a base open. And that will take you to Cole Henneman. Henneman's a .259 hitter on the year. He's 1 for 4 today. The redshirt senior who transferred to Memphis from Eastern Illinois. Stands in with 2 out and the go-ahead runner at first. And Anthony George, the third baseman for UCF, is in on the grass. That one misses 1-0.
A pair of walks given up in relief by Kemp. Also a pair of strikeouts. The only single he's given up came to Nick Vogie, who's standing on deck.
UCF center fielder Ray Alejo still shading over toward left as this one's fouled back. And the count even at 1-1. This is such a critical spot, obviously, for both teams in terms of their fate in the tournament, but especially for UCF with an RPI of 44 coming in. Squarely on the bubble. D1Baseball.com had them as the 64th and last team into the tournament coming into the week. 1-1 right side. Micah gets there, throws to first, inning over. So Memphis can't push anything across. We're tied at 7 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Could we have some heroics for the UCF Knights? Stick around and find out. It's the American Athletic Conference Baseball Championship on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
We go to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 7. Jeff Sharon and Garrett Wolverd here with you at the American Baseball Championship in Clearwater. And Jason Santana, well, UCF would probably have a win in this game if it wasn't for him, the Memphis catcher who's gunned down 3 Knights from behind the plate today.
Exceptional plays, got the tags down in time. A couple of times Dalton Wingo has been cut down by Santana, who's quick up off his seat, and despite throwing to the left side of the bag there, he's got such velocity on that throw. I remember in high school, some of the best pitchers were catchers. You know, you had to convert your catcher to a pitcher because he had such a gun.
Not to mention the fact that he had that 3-run homer earlier today that's contributed to Memphis's 7 runs. 7, 10, and 2 for both squads as we head to the bottom of the 9th. And due up for UCF, 5, 6, and 7. Chandler Robertson, Ray Alejo, and Anthony George. As the Knights try to knock out Memphis in this elimination game and keep their NCAA and American Athletic Conference tournament hopes alive. 0-1 the count. Robertson has walked twice. He singled his last time. And he takes low from the Memphis pitcher Hunter Smith, the lefty, back out there for his 3rd inning of relief. He's given up 1 earned run on 2 hits and struck out 2. Has not walked anyone yet. 1-1. In there for a strike in the count 1-2.
It's just day 2, but we've already seen one walk-off victory in this tournament. UConn and David Langer had a game-winning RBI single to vanquish Houston in our first game. The Huskies in the winners bracket. UConn will play Wichita State tomorrow. Our first game at 3 p.m.
1-2. Outside, and the count now 2-2. Let's look back at that walk-off from UConn earlier this tournament.
David Langer didn't have a hit in the ballgame until he smoked one back up the middle. A run would score from second, and UConn would explode out of the dugout into the winner's bracket to start things in 2019.
2-2, Robertson fists it to left, and it's caught by Hunter Goodman, one down. So that'll bring Ray Alejo to the plate. Alejo homered back in the third. It was a 2-run shot. He's reached base 3 times, but struck out his last time. That home run was a bomb, ended up in Frenchies. Down the left field line, this is 8th home run of the year. Alejo, the center fielder, 3.05 on the season, 5.10 slugging. And he's quickly ahead in the count, 2-0. Looking for his 75th hit of the year. And he waves and misses at that one, 2-1. Alejo went to Boone High School in downtown Orlando.
Alejo's only hit of the tournament is that home run back in the third, but he's reached base 3 times today.
Good speed on the base pads, too, if he can get on. He takes a strike, and the count's now 2-2. So Hunter Smith is working pretty quickly here. The wind is now blowing out to left.
Smith about to throw his 40th pitch in relief.
And the 2-2 is hit deep to center field. Neal camps underneath it and makes the catch, 2 down. So tied at 7 and 2 out here in the bottom of the 9th, and Anthony George steps to the plate.
Smith much more effective in this inning of relief. Back in the 8th, 3 of the 4 batters he faced reached on him. Now quick 2 outs for Anthony George.
George is a .220 hitter, 143 with 2 out. He's got 3 homers on the year, 2 doubles. Correction, 7 doubles. And he hits this one high in the air to center. Coming over from right is Bell. He makes the catch, and that ends the 9th. We go to extra innings here at Spectrum Field. Free baseball at the American Baseball Championship, tied at 7 between UCF and Memphis in this elimination game.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy, an opportunity. So go on, dream big, because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
We go to extra innings here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. Jeff Sharon and Garrett Wolford with you. It's an elimination game between UCF and Memphis. We're tied at 7. Kyle Kemp for UCF heads out to the mound once again. He's tossed an inning and a third so far for the Knights, who fought back from being down 7-4 in this game. Both teams with 7 runs on 10 hits to go with 2 errors. Memphis has left 8 on base. UCF has left 9. And leading off for Memphis will be Nick Vogie. 7-8-9 due up for the Tigers. Vogie has reached base 3 times, singled twice, scored twice, and also walked. First pitch from Kemp, who came to UCF from Lipscomb University. He's in there for a strike. Bogey 6'2", 223. He's from Savage, Minnesota, Prior Lake High School grad. And the 0-1's in there for a strike. Kemp ahead 0-2. Light shift on for UCF toward right, and he wastes that one up high. UCF in extra innings this season. Won their last game in extras, 11-10 over Houston in the regular season finale. That got them the 6th seed as Vogie hits this one deep to center field. Heading back for it is Alejo. He makes the catch. One down.
The ball really traveled well. Alejo, though, had a beat on it. The sun no longer a major issue, and he was able to fight the lights and bring it home.
Got a little bit of help from the wind on that one, too, blowing it back into the field of play. And this will bring up Jason Santana, who had the big blow for Memphis back in the 4th, the 3-run homer, and has erased 3 UCF runners by himself from behind the plate. Takes the ball up high. Santana on the day officially 1 for 3 with 4 runs batted in. Kemp's 1-0, misses 2-0. These two teams have fought tooth and nail in this game, tied at 7. Their tournament fate's on the line, and UCF trying to stay alive also for their NCAA tournament hopes. Here's the 2-0. Oh, he hit Santana right in the back, and that'll put him on.
Represents the go-ahead run, standing on first base with 1 out. If he has not set a single game record in this tournament with 3 caught stealing, he's certainly tied it. I can't remember anybody else having that much success gunning down base runners.
So Santana is on first with 1 out. And in steps the right fielder, Evan Bell, who pinch hit for Peyton Marshall in the 8th. He's 0 for 1 with a flyout. In extra innings this year, UCF is 4-1, but 1-1 in conference. That one misses low, and the count 1-0.
There were no extra inning games in last year's tournament here, but in 2017, Memphis and Cincinnati got locked up in a dogfight. 10 innings, and Memphis would win it 15-14.
And heading out to the hill is Nick Oddie, the assistant coach, pitching coach for UCF, under head coach Greg Lovelady. To talk to Kyle Kemp here. We're tied at 7 in the 10th. Both of these teams won their last extra inning contest in this tournament. Garrett, you mentioned Memphis winning that wild 15-14 game. Memphis did against Cincinnati, the highest scoring game in the history of this tournament 2 years ago. UCF back in 2016 in an elimination game beat Tulane in extra innings on a walk-off homer by Brooks Morgan. And we'll see what gives tonight. We're in the top of the 10th with 1 on and 1 out, and it's a 1-0 count for Kyle Kemp, the redshirt senior. Facing Evan Bell. Santana dances off first, and that pitch is in there for a strike. I see one UCF pitcher up in the bullpen, but not throwing at all. No action in the Memphis bullpen. One. Popped up and out of play, foul. Memphis this season's played 2 extra inning games. They lost 2-1 to Middle Tennessee on March the 1st and beat Southern 14-12 in 12 innings on April the 6th. That was the first game of a doubleheader. Bell, the righty, looks at strike 3. What a pitch by Kyle Kemp. 2 down and a runner at first now, and that's Kemp's 3rd strikeout of the game.
This one's a little bit low, but you see that it comes across the plate, punches him out. Now the top of the order.
And up steps Ben Brooks. Brooks is 1 for 4 on the night. Solo homer back in the 4th. He also walked his last time up in the 8th. Kemp fires, and Brooks didn't mean to on that one. Takes a strike, 0-1.
Tomorrow in the winner's bracket game, the 2-seed Cincinnati will take on the 3-seed Tulane. Whoever loses that game will take on tonight's winner. Fighting for the chance to keep your season going.
And that one misses outside. You know, these two teams in their first meeting here in the conference tournament, I guess we shouldn't be surprised when Memphis and UCF get together in any sport that there's drama and possibly extra whatever of that sport involved.
I think there's definitely a good shot in football later on this fall. These two teams could be right back in the championship game, both just loaded with talent.
1-1. Hit in the air to deep left center. Alejo underneath it, makes the play, and ends the inning. Memphis can't get anything in the top of the 10th. We go to the bottom of the 10th, still tied at 7. Here in this elimination game at the American Baseball Championship presented by the Air Force Reserve.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. The beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
We go to the bottom of the 10th, tied at 7. UCF and Memphis in an elimination game here at the American Baseball Championship. Jeff Sharon and Garrett Woolvard here with you from beautiful Spectrum Field in Clearwater, Florida. Once again, the home of the American Baseball Tournament. UCF has 8-9-1 due up in the bottom of the 10th, and back out there once again is Hunter Smith. He's thrown 3 innings for Memphis, given up 1 earned run on 2 hits, struck out 2. He hasn't walked anyone yet, and he's approaching 50 pitches on the night. Leading off for the Knights will be Ben McCabe, the DH. McCabe is 2 for 4 on the evening. Singled twice, once in the 4th, once in the 5th. He's also scored and knocked in a run. And that one's up high on the first pitch, 1-0. Mentioned UCF, the last time they won an extra inning game here in Clearwater, it was on a walk-off homer 3 years ago, and McCabe hits this one into center for a base hit, and the leadoff man is on here in the bottom of the 10th.
Puts the barrel of the bat on it, was able to have it come drop in.
And that's hit number 11 on the game for UCF, and we have a pinch runner over at first for the Knights. And it's number 31, Jeffrey Pena, 6-foot-tall freshman from Santiago in the Dominican Republic. And the number 9 hitter, Brandon Hernandez, the senior, now steps up to the plate. What a spot for the senior here, Hernandez. From Royal Palm Beach, Florida. Came to UCF from Santa Fe College. First delivery from the lefty Smith. Hernandez shows bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 1. Henneman, the third baseman for Memphis, is playing in on the grass, right on the line. Pena this year 2 for 2 in the stolen base department. Hernandez lays down the bunt. It's a pretty good one. And that moves the runner over to second. A successful sacrifice bunt for Brandon Hernandez. And Matthew Micah will step to the plate with 1 out and the winning run 180 feet away.
Hernandez doesn't have a hit in the tournament, but that is a beautiful bunt. Lays it down, allows the runner to get into scoring position, and that'll be the first out of the inning.
Micah's reached base 4 times today. 2 hits, 2 walks rather. He singled and scored his last time up in the 8th. .322 hitter this year, the senior, one of the leaders of this club, and he's got the winning run in this elimination game in scoring position. Micah looks at ball 1. Here's the 1-0 to Micah. Outside, 2-0.
Jeff and I talked about that 15-14 extra inning win that Memphis had. The guy with the game-winning hit and the win on the mound was Colton Neal. He's currently standing in center field for Memphis. Got to be perfect in the field now.
Matthew Micah trying to play that part here. Takes a ball, 3-0. Dallas Beaver is on deck. He's 0 for 3 today, but he's also a .312 hitter. And they decide to just put Micah on. So it's an intentional base on balls for Micah. Darren Schoenrock's not going to mess around with this one, and he'll put Dallas Beaver in a position. Now, Beaver's reached twice today. He's walked and been hit by a pitch.
Nobody warming up in the pen for Memphis. That doesn't mean Colton Neal can't come out of center field, though.
Right. Correction, Beaver's reached 3 times. He reached on an error back in the first. But officially, he's 0 for 3. Russ McNichol steps out to the hill to talk to Hunter Smith, the lefty, in this critical spot with Pena at second. Micah's at first, but he basically doesn't matter at this point with 1 out in this elimination game. UCF, last time they had an extra inning game in this tournament, back in 2016. They walked it off on a home run against Tulane. But now Dallas Beaver stands in. Junior from Kissimmee, graduate of Osceola High School. He's a Cowboy with a K. First and second, 1 out. And perhaps the Knights' NCAA tournament hopes on the line. Certainly their American Baseball Championship hopes in this tie game in the bottom of the 10th. Smith deals to Beaver, and that one misses for ball 1. Pena's the runner at second with very good speed. Pinch ran for the designated hitter Ben McCabe.
Beaver drove in his team-leading 53rd RBI back in the third.
Here's the 1-0. Right side foul, 1-1. With runners in scoring position this year, Beaver is 308. Against Memphis, he had a 2-home run game in the regular season series, had 5 RBIs in that ball game, 5 of 13 for that whole series against the Tigers. Right side, base hit. It's bobbled in right field. Pena comes around third. Here's the throw. Pena scores, and it's over. The UCF Knights stave off elimination in Clearwater. They defeat the Memphis Tigers 8-7 in 10 innings on a walk-off single by Dallas Beaver. What a ball game between these two squads. UCF fought back from down 7-4, and they knock out the Memphis Tigers by a final score of 8-7. Dallas Beaver is the hero. So the UCF Knights will move on to Friday. They will play the winner of Tulane and Cincinnati, who will play tomorrow. Let's go down to Haley Outen.
Really tough finish there for Evan Bell, the redshirt sophomore, who was in right field, and the ball got to him so quickly. I think if he wouldn't bobble it, we could have had a play at the plate.
All right, now we'll go down to Haley Outen, who's with UCF head coach Greg Lovelady. Sorry about that, Haley. Go ahead.
Coach, your team scored runs in 6 different innings to chip away at this deficit all game to send this game to extras. How much fight did they show tonight?
Well, one, we got to praise God. You know, we've been like this for like 20 games, just fighting like crazy and backs against the wall. I'm really proud of the kids. Just never gave up. You know, obviously those first couple innings were rough. You know, Memphis did a great job. You got to tip their hats, man. They came out swinging the bat and really got to Grant. And, you know, our bullpen did enough. It just held on and held on. Our offense just kept chipping away, overcome some bad coaching mistakes, and just found a way. I'm really proud of the kids. It's been a crazy couple weeks with a lot of games like that, and I'm proud we got the win tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned your bullpen, 5 scoreless innings to give your offense a chance to get your team back into this game. How vital were they to the outcome?
I mean, huge. We talk about it all the time. I mean, you got to hold them. Just give us a chance. Just hold them. Put zeros up on the board. Let us keep chipping away. You know, I would have liked to get some more crooked numbers up there earlier, but the guys just kept fighting, kept you know, putting together good at bats, getting guys on base. And like I said, you got to give a lot of credit to our bullpen for just holding down the fort and giving us a shot. So huge win, survive in advance, and you know, we're going to enjoy tomorrow's day off. That's for sure.
You mentioned the adversity that this team has faced in the postseason. Rather, is about being battle tested. What did they prove tonight?
Well, again, I think when you know, past experiences breed confidence, and so when you've been in those situations before, you just feel more confident knowing that you can overcome any kind of deficit, overcome any type of obstacle, and we've done a lot of that. Whether it's been up by a lot and holding on for dear life late, or whether it's been, you know, getting behind and having to fight and come back. And so I just feel like we're a confident group when we get in these situations, just because we've gone through a lot of it in the last couple of weeks. So you just got to give all the credit to our kids. They just battle, overcome me, and just find a way.
Thanks, Coach. Enjoy the day off.
Appreciate it very much.
All right, thanks, Haley. So UCF gets the win 8-7, 5-1 now in extra innings, and they've won 2 of their last 3 games in walk-off extra inning fashion. Let's go back downstairs to Haley Outen, who has the hero for the Knights, Dallas Beaver.
Dallas, your first hit of the night came in a pretty clutch moment. What was going through your mind as you were walking up to the plate?
I just wanted to end the game. I was tired of catching, and I'm sure we were all tired of playing. Both teams are fighting really hard tonight to win this game, and elimination game and everything. I just wanted to end it. Didn't want to put anything for granted, and you know, my teammates gave me a really good opportunity, and I was just able to pull through.
In an elimination game with your season on the line potentially in the postseason, what was the mindset of this group heading into tonight's game?
I mean, we obviously just had to win the ball game. You know, we've been in a lot of tight games recently, and nothing's fazed us. You know, our backs have been against the wall. We've been able to just keep fighting pitch by pitch, and I mean, we got down pretty early, but we were just able to keep pulling through.
after you got that game-winning hit and you turned around and you saw the entire team storming out to you. Where does that moment compare to anything else you've experienced throughout your career?
It's up there for sure. I mean, I've had some good moments in my career, and I'm really thankful for everything that's happened to me. That's definitely one on the top of my list. You know, these seniors, I love all these seniors, and you know, to just keep their season going, even if it's 1 or 2 more days. You know, I'm just grateful for that opportunity.
To be able to battle back from behind throughout this entire game and come out with a win here in the 10th inning, how much confidence does that give this group that they can fight on here the rest of this week in Clearwater?
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence. We've done really well against all these teams here. I mean, this is a really good tournament and a lot of good teams, but we're confident against any team, and we're just going to keep trying to roll this over. Even though we got a day off, we're going to enjoy it, and I'm sure Colossi's daughter's going to enjoy it too. That's for you, Kinsley.
Thank you. Go enjoy this one with your team. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Haley. UCF gets the win 8-7. Garrett Wolford, what a ball game indeed for this night's team. And Dallas Beavers right, they do move on to Friday.
Should be fun. Congratulations to the pitcher, Kyle Kemp, who comes in with scoreless relief, and I'm sure he'll never forget his first win as a UCF Knight. Happens in extra innings with a walk-off here in the conference championships.
So our final score, 8-7. UCF gets the victory. In 10 innings, they move to 35-21. Memphis' season ends at 27-28. Don't forget to be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. as we have UConn against Wichita State, followed by Cincinnati and Tulane. UCF is moving on in extra innings to Friday. They play the loser of Cincinnati and Tulane. For all of our crew here in Clearwater at Spectrum Field, and for all the folks at the American Athletic Conference, as well for Haley Outen and Garrett Wolford, I'm Jeff Sharon saying thank you so much for watching. This has been the American Athletic Conference Baseball Championship presented by the Air Force Reserve. The UCF Knights walk it off in Clearwater. We'll see you tomorrow.